of Trustees. I'd like to call the Board of Trustees, Village of Weston to order. If we would all stand for the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. A roll call, please.
Maloney,
Here.
Cronin,
Here.
Ermeling, Jordan,
Here.
Lope Sarau,
Here.
Wyland, Zagami.
Here. Good. All right, public comments. So we've got two of them tonight. Jamie Wyland, first one.
Yeah, I have to wear these now. Good evening, Jamie Wyland, 7010 Janelle Street. I'd like to share a brief statement regarding my resignation from the Weston Board of Trustees. It's been an honor to serve this community. I've truly valued the chance to be involved in areas I deeply care about, like our parks, tourism efforts, and supporting public safety. After careful thought and reflection, I've decided that stepping away from this role is what is best for my family and me at this time. Serving on the board has come with both rewarding and challenging moments, but over time, it became clear that a lack of transparency and a culture behind the scenes decision-making, a good old boys approach to leadership, were getting in the way of true collaboration. There were moments when I felt dismissed, bullied, or sidelined for asking questions or offering a different perspective. That environment doesn't foster trust, it shuts it down. It's disheartening to realize that as an elected official, your voice can be diminished when key conversations are happening outside the boardroom and when discussions are pushed through with the 6-1 votes and no real discussion. That's not how representative government is supposed to function. Those dynamics haven't just affected my role as a trustee, they've had a rippled effect on my family, especially when community leadership starts to bleed into personal spaces and not only impacted me, but my family as well. I also believe the public should be aware that over half of this board, 57%, are now appointed, non-elected. This shift matters. It impacts how decisions are made and how power is held. While I remain hopeful that things can improve, I no longer feel this is the right space for me to serve. That said, I'm still passionate about Weston, and I plan to stay actively involved in areas I care most about, just not at this table at this time. Thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you. Thank you. Number two, Jim.
Good evening, Jim Henson, 552 Girl Street. First, I want to thank Mrs. Wyland for your dedicated service to our community. It's much appreciated. On other village facts here, as important as National Ice Cream Day is July 20th, and the clerk's department has Weston stickers for sale in the office, why in all of these posts on Facebook and social media, which are made multiple times daily, has not one single mention been made of how we cannot afford to fund the fire department? There's not a single mention. Come on down to 4747 Camp Phillips tonight. Let's talk about the new fire tax we intend to create. Once upon a time, we sent physical newsletters to residents. Oh wait, we still do send a physical newsletter to all the residents, don't we? We even have more than 1,000 residents subscribe to an e-newsletter. And in all of those methods of communication, not one single mention of a fire tax there either. It's almost as if the 7, as you were, 6 of you really don't want the public involved in your heinous decisions. Just give the good old boys the checkbook and don't ask questions, Jim. If they need more money for stuff, you'll find out on your tax bill in December. Clearly, the intent here is just to ambush the hardworking residents of the village with a new tax, a fire fee as you call it, but really it's just a new tax. And while I 100% respect every single one of our brave men and women on the fire department, they too should feel like they're not a burden to the community by being singled out and vilified because there's now going to be a new tax implemented to cover their costs. They should be fully funded, no question about it. What happened to our fire department merger? It was a great idea until it wasn't. Sharing extremely expensive apparatus and resources, pooling a limited number of highly skilled EMS and fire personnel in the area to create a higher level of service for everyone and a lower cost for everyone. Seems like a win-win to me. Mountain Bay Metropolitan Police Department just celebrated their 1-year birthday. That's a prime example of identifying an opportunity to take two smaller departments, create one more efficient, more effective department, all in the name of providing better quality of service at a lesser cost. Instead, big egos got in the way. Cronin and Maloney refused to play in someone else's sandbox, packed up their toys, and left. They will say it was Schofield, or it was because of a ladder truck, or Rothschild borrowed money for their building, but it's all smoke and mirrors. No pun intended with the word smoke. If a joint police department could be built in weeks and operational in just a few months, then how is it so impossible to do the same with fire? Oh, by the way, it's with the same municipalities we're already working with for police. But I'm just a mechanic, what would I know? Does the lack of interest in a joint department have a deeper conflict than just clashing personalities? Is it because Cronin serves on the SAFER board and simultaneously works for the department as an on-call firefighter? Clearly that conflict of interest, there has been no intention of correcting. I think that to remain on a sustainable path for the future, we really need to look at overall operational costs. The building inspectors don't need a new 4x4 pickup to ride around in. Their clipboard, iPad, and tape measure fit nicely in a compact car, which can be bought and maintained at a fraction of the cost. We continue to make decisions here based on the way it was in 1996. Times, they are changing. The village, not so much. I ask you all to break this mold and start getting creative. Many of the seniors in our community have cut the cord on their landline phone and embraced using cell phones to cut costs and increase their level of service. If they can do it at 80 years old, the village should be more agile and open to change at just 29 years old. Let's start making decisions in the best interest of the people, not what's easiest and most beneficial for a few. Last comment, while attending these meetings either on Zoom and or reading or listening to the YouTube recordings, many people in the conversation is difficult to hear and you can't be understood. I think we should have a microphone in front of each and every one of you. Only those with a strong voice or with a physical microphone in front of you, you can actually hear. Unless the intent is not to have the audio captured for replay in a later, it's just to prevent the illusion that we want to make it available for later use. Thank you.
Minutes from previous meetings. Number 4, approval of June 16th, 2025 Board of Trustees meeting. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Zagami,
Second.
second by Jordan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Acknowledge reports, minutes from boards, committees, and commissions. You want to acknowledge all or go one by one?
Motion to approve items number 5, 7, 8, B, 10, 13, 14, and 15B concurrently.
Motion by Cronin,
Second.
second by Lopez. Lopez, sorry.
That's fine.
No, it's, obviously it's wrong.
Anything on the question? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Acknowledge reports from departments. Same manner or one by one?
I just wanted to mention one thing under mine, if I could.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I jumped ahead if we wanted a motion on the floor first.
I'm okay with just.
Okay, one by one, so go ahead.
So in my report, I just had noted and looking ahead, I had sent out a doodle poll for a retreat and I didn't necessarily get a strong consensus on a date. And so I had put some dates down because I know we've talked a lot about affordable housing and a lot of my report was about affordable housing. And Kristen Fish-Peterson, who we've worked with in the past on several projects, has actually assisted a number of communities in what affordable housing through TIF means. And I think it would be good to maybe do like a 2-hour session and we could do lunch together and wrap in maybe that being part of a retreat and then doing a little bit more in another 2-hour session instead of trying to find a big 4-hour block of time. So I know I had asked to bring calendars because of budget, but I just wanted to see if maybe we could throw out some dates and just while we were all together, get a consensus on a time frame to have Kristen come in and talk about affordable housing with us, affordable housing through TIF.
And I did bring my calendar.
Let's do that now. You want the calendar now?
Yeah, if we, July 28th would be the first availability. Anytime between 11:30 a.m. and 4.
Wait a second, let's,
Monday?
it's a Monday, good. July what?
July 28th,
From when to when?
anytime starting at 11:30 a.m. and going to, not until 4 o'clock that afternoon, anytime in between them.
Good.
I don't know what you-
You're not.
I'm not available until after 5, pretty much daily the rest of the summer.
No?
Yep.
Joel's good.
But-
I'm good.
So the,
Out of town for Louis.
is it that whole week?
No, just that day.
So the 28th, between 4 and 6 p.m. would also be an option, not the 28th, the 29th, the next day.
Oh, wait, Tuesday.
If we did the 29th and we started at 4, could that be an option?
I'm good.
I'm available.
I'm Joel's not.
Okay.
That's the date.
Is it that whole week, Joe?
Oh, it's just a
Okay,
cardiologist appointment at 4 o'clock that day.
okay. The 31st, anytime, so we could go later in the afternoon if the 31st worked for,
What day of the week is that?
It's
Thursday.
Thursday, the 31st.
31st is good.
I'm good all day.
Me too.
Louis,
I'd only be available after 4:30.
after 4?
after 4:30? Okay,
That's good for me.
After 4:30.
okay, so let me see if we could do 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. and we'd have some food there. But we'd do it here at the municipal center. We'd like to do that piece on affordable housing, and then we also would like to do strengths finders. So maybe what we would do is have the books here and we would just distribute that, but then we'd hold a strengths finder session at a later point.
You're gonna send some out?
Yep,
4:30.
okay, so I'm here in July 31st, 4:30 to 6:30.
Okay. Anything more for administrator? Anybody?
Unless there was questions.
No. Clerk?
Nothing further unless someone has questions.
Adam is at his first clerk's
His
thing?
first year,
And he's got 2 more to go?
yes, he does one, he'll do one every year.
Right. Okay.
I got one question. How's the turnout been out at Mock Pillar? Has it been good or?
Like 60, 65 people each time. We're trying to encourage, it's really a nice, relaxing place to go.
How are the mosquitoes?
Not bad,
Not bad. I haven't been bit once.
knock on wood, cause it's.
I know. There hasn't
What's
been
that gentleman's
anything there
name
either.
again? Jeffrey or something?
Jackson
Jackson?
Taylor.
Jackson Taylor. Okay.
Yeah, he was the one that organized it.
Right. That's cool.
Dustin Lee is the performer tomorrow.
Okay. Dustin Lee. Okay, anything more for clerk? Finance. Okay. Anybody has any ideas on the fire, text Jessica and see what we can come up with. Fire EMS, anything for the chief, anything
Nothing
yet?
to add.
No? Good report in there. Park and Rec is blacked out, not blue.
I did not have a report in the packet. I was out of the office last week.
Okay.
But we're in the second half of the season at the Aquatic Center right now. We just finished our second session of swim lessons last week. The final session will start next week. But we do have a ton of groups. We got 2 more night rentals this month, and we have 3 next month too. We're open through the 24th at this point. If you've been by Kennedy Park, you've seen progress. There's been some posts on field construction. The masonry company arrived late last week and are working on the concrete portion of it. I was out there this afternoon to see how they're progressing. So they're getting ready to put some footings in and working on that. So a lot of work going on there right now.
It's exciting.
Yeah, and the final tournament of youth baseball is this weekend.
Okay.
So
Good. Anything for Sean? Plan development. Jen, anything to add?
Just to let you know that I did attach to my report the Stillwater landing information. Travis had a report in there, so if you have any questions on that, but they seem to be headed in the right direction.
And that same owner is also now owner of the Aspen Street Apartments.
Correct, yeah.
Oh. Okay. Anything more in plan development? Police,
I just have a lot of reports in the.
it's massive. If you haven't seen it, just go through there and it's almost not recognizable. All those reports, page after page after page after page, you just say, wow, that's all happening here. That's a lot of stuff.
Just a couple comments. There's been some discussion about some of the vehicles and activity. Traffic arrests were up by about 120. Calls for service were up about 1,000. This is for a quarter. There's been a large amount of training for the officers. We're trying to continue to specialize. And we're planning our Halloween Monster Bash again this year, which is October 10th. It's a Friday night. It was a huge event last year, so it's free. Everything's free for the community, so big event, so.
Okay. Thank you. Any more questions? Public Works, Michael, anything to add?
A lot of construction going on.
Yes, there is. That's also exciting. I know it's, troublesome for a lot of people, but I go by Fuller several times a day. It's just exciting, just is to
I
me.
gotta drive down Ross just so I can look at it.
I just love it. I just think it's really neat, so. Good. Hushain?
Michael, can we have DOT at least repair that section between Normandy and Business 51? Do some crack filling, or they can't let it go like that for 3 years
Yeah,
until construction.
I do have a meeting with the DOT this Friday about the Business 51 project, so I can
See if you can,
definitely try to get them to do something there.
yeah, it's not a big job really. They can have county to do it, and that's it.
See, the county takes care of it.
Usually they do, yes.
Or I mean, if it's just some cold patch or something that needs to go in, I mean, we have done that historically because it just gets done faster. I guess I'm not sure to the extent of what you're.
It's pretty bumpy, let's put it that way. There's
Sure.
some pothole and.
I mean, we can patch potholes in there. It's just a matter of, yeah, I mean, a full reconstruction would be something beyond what we should commit to, but I mean, if it's some potholes, we can take care of those too.
Well, the thing is, 29 is the construction,
Yeah,
and they can't let it go for 3 years like that.
yep.
All right, thanks.
Good. Any more? Technology, Nate's not here.
He's online.
Nate, anything you want to add?
Nothing to add to my report. Take any questions if you have any.
Questions? All right, motion to acknowledge would be in order.
Motion to acknowledge.
Motion to acknowledge by Ermeling. Second by Zagami. All those, any more questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Work product transmittals, 27. You want to do, you want to do the first three together? Or separate? Let's 27, acknowledge June building permits.
Acknowledge 27, 28, 29, and 30.
Motion to acknowledge 27, 28, 29, and 30 by Zagami. Is there a
Second.
second by Cronin on the question?
Michael, do you need a separate motion for 30? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. There's not a requirement there. That's just.
Okay,
Wow.
just check.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Consent agenda. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Michael, did you want to make a comment about it at all?
It's a good report.
It's
We
just,
did talk about it, I
Yeah,
think.
it's a good report.
yeah, I mean, we went through it at Public Works. Really, I mean, every year we do put out the consumer confidence report or the water quality report, whichever one you want to refer to it as. Just goes over our testing frequency of our water utility, what's in it, and how it is safe to drink.
Okay. Consent, thank you. Consent agenda. Approve vouchers 32 and let's just do them separate. 32, approve vouchers, check numbers 64642, 64850, 64852 to 64907, and 90208 to 90211. Motion to approve by Ermeling,
Second.
second by Jordan. Anything on the question? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 33, appointment of a new agent for GBM Southwest LLC DBA R Store 4504. It's your pleasure. Motion to approve by Ermling.
Second.
Second by Lopes. On the discussion, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You're gonna make me feel bad if we always chuckle, you know, so. All right, let's see, how about, what do we have here? We have Dan, right? And, Scott, the other two I know you're with,
My name is Josh Wiedenhoff. I'm here for the number 40.
number 40. Oh, okay, let's do number 40 first, and then we'll do Dan second since you're in the audience. Is that okay with everybody?
Okay.
Okay, so moving to 40, under new business, discussion and or action on recommending speed reduction on Camp Phillips Road between Schofield Avenue and Highway 29, interchange to Marathon, we'd have to make a recommendation to Marathon County. Our conversation we had, it's not our road, so we'd have to recommend this to Marathon County, and then they would have to take it up in their committee. At the same time, we also had a request, I don't know if it was formal or not, but somebody called the chief, and they wanted to raise the speed limit from Eau Claire Avenue out to N? Or, oh, no, to Northwestern.
Correct.
Right, so just a thought there, but so we had an accident
On Camp Phillips?
at Camp Phillips, both
That's not
sections.
gonna- That's not, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah, they might not, but the one that we're just talking about here is from the 29 interchange to Ross Avenue. And he lives at Douglas and at Camp Phillips, I believe.
Yep.
And, you know, the speed, I drive it along with a lot of other ones, I'm sure you all do, it gets going. I think, what is it, 30 posted or 35?
30.
30? Yeah, I do more than that. So we had a pretty bad accident there, ended up on Stein Eye Center. Someone was killed. Some younger people were doing 60 miles an hour. We had a chat. It wouldn't have changed the outcome.
Correct.
They would have been doing 60 in a 25 or 60 in a 30 or 35. And, but, you know, in this day and age, I talked to the chief a little bit, 25, you know, sometimes means 30, 35. 30 means sometimes 35, 40, and 35 sometimes means 40, 45. So I just thought it'd be a healthy discussion on what we all thought. Hussein, go ahead.
The portion I was talking about is Camp Phillips.
Yep.
From Eau Claire to
Yep.
Northwest.
That's the secondary.
Right,
This
that-
this one tonight, we're just talking about 29 interchange to Ross Avenue. That's it. And if the chief has, I'm sorry, Schofield Avenue. If the chief has a formal request for something to raise, then we can bring it up at a later date. But tonight, I told this resident that we would just talk about this amongst ourselves and see what we all think.
May I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah.
Just state your name and address for the record.
Josh Wiedenhoff. I'm at 4109 Douglas Lane.
Okay.
As Mark stated, my side yard is Camp Phillips Road.
Mhm.
As a member of law enforcement for 7 years, I'm trained in speed estimation. And I would say the majority of people are going 35, 40, some people going over 40. And if it's allowed, can I read some social media posts about it?
Sure, go ahead.
So this was from the Ask Wausau page, and these are comments from the accident that happened. So I screenshotted 3 of them, just so I could share them with you, to show that there are residents who also wish the same. First one says, I drive that section nearly every day, and people are always speeding through there like they're trying to beat the light. And then skipping down a little bit, she said, I wish Weston would review that intersection for safety. It's way too busy right there. The next one said that intersection is an accident waiting to happen. The dip is dangerous, especially if you are towing. Was a pedestrian recently and took 15 minutes to safely cross. Slow down or leave earlier. And the last one said that's because no one, and I mean no one, drives the speed limit on that road. I used to live right there. It's actually 30, though they're not. 40, 45, like everyone does. I've almost been hit many times pulling in my driveway. I'm so glad to be out of there. And then it keeps going, but I can also attest to it is very hard to pull out of Douglas Lane onto that road when it's busy.
So the dip you're referring to is at Schofield Avenue?
I think so.
The dip, yeah, because that is pretty wild. It's almost a speed bump, yeah.
So both myself and my neighbor are hoping for the speed limit change. And I think there are more residents along the way. I think it'll make the whole section of that road safer. And be better for the community. As we said, it's largely residential there. I have a 6-month-old daughter who is just learning to crawl, and next year she'll be walking, and, you know, just asking for safety. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I totally agree. I live on Rodney off of Douglas. Trying to turn off of East Jelinek or Douglas at many times of the day is just not safe to do. So I think myself and a lot of the neighbors, we go up to the area of Quick Trip so we can use the lights. But I often laugh at how many people I see running those lights right in front of me. It's just crazy. And the sidewalk on Camp Phillips, going towards Schofield Ave is very close to the road. So when you're walking up the road, to head to Quick Trip or something, like, it feels very uneasy walking right close to traffic that's going that fast. So I would totally be in support of lowering the speed limit in that area.
More? I'm sorry, Joe?
Thank you. So lowering the speed limit, I would be in favor of that too, but I'd like to defer to the chief. I travel that multiple times during every day, and I've never seen law enforcement checking speed on that stretch. Now, it would be very difficult. Could you comment, please, on what it would take to actually enforce that area?
Well, I can't tell you offhand how many hours are spent there. I know the officers are in the area from time to time. We also are in the same predicament, and as the fire department, you know, we have 6,000 calls, so 2,000 a month. And as I'm sitting here, the best option I have is to throw some overtime shifts out there and have somebody isolated to that area for 4 hours at a crack and just see exactly what is taking place there a couple times in a 2-week period and just see what's happening. That would be the best gauge of it. So after this crash, so this crash is currently being investigated by the State Patrol. We don't have all the reconstruction back on it. So for me to make a comment on where speed was or anything like that, I can't do that. However, after this crash occurred, I went and sat at the intersection at Barbican, which is the East Everest area right by Stein. And that traffic light there is a little bit deceiving. So if you're making a left-hand turn, if you're going northbound, you lose that traffic arrow that's on there. So completely. And when I saw the crash report, I was thinking, did he turn on a yellow arrow or what's going on? And the officer said, no, it goes away completely. And I think that's a flaw in the system, because if you can make a left turn on a green light, you just assume because there's a jog in the road, you could have a vehicle that's hidden there. So if a car is in the turn lane and that jog comes out, and I know speed is a discussion here, but as that jog comes out, a car can be hidden there. And if you make a left turn on a green light, you think you have the right of way, right? You just see green light. So I think there's some flaws in the DOT part of that need to be corrected. And our new location is at that intersection, right? It's just to the west of that if and when the building gets built. So officers will be through that intersection all the time. And I also have a safety concern on that after I saw this crash. And that's how we evaluate things, right? Something bad happens, and I'm not saying this is the way it should be, but if something bad happens, everything comes to light and you go, what is going on here? And that's what happened when I saw that. Like, what is going on here? And you look at that light and it's just not the right sequence of lights that are there. So as far as speed, I think that I'll run a couple of overtime shifts in there in a 2-week period. And then the next board meeting, I can report back and tell you what is actually going on. Because if I have somebody isolated there for 4 hours at a time frame in that area, we'll know what they're stopping and what the speeds are and stuff like that. Radar reader boards are great. You throw one up and you get some information, but what you find with radar reader boards is you might have a motorcycle that says, let me see if I can do 100 today. And they want to peg that radar reader board. And having an officer there and actually doing it and tabulating information, I think is the best course of action for it.
You know, I see squads here as often as I see them, other places, maybe, not as much, because I'm getting to the highway or coming off. But it's the highest level of brake lights I don't see. When someone is there, when a squad car is somewhere in there, the level of brake lights are huge because they are going that fast. And once they see that cop car, boom, then they hit the brakes. And I get a kick out of seeing all the people hitting brakes, knowing that they're going too fast, so. Anybody else?
I have one other
Yeah.
question for Michael. So is Schofield Avenue and Camp Phillips slated for a roundabout?
It's not slated for anything. We've tried to have that conversation with Marathon County for a while. And they were waiting on us at one point to get our Camp Phillips corridor plan done, which we did. But there are some bigger assumptions in there as far as future development and some of those things. So in my discussions most recently with the county and highway engineer, I mean, it is on our short term of things we need to discuss is that intersection and that corridor in general, because I think it's 2027, 2028, the DOT does have a resurfacing project kind of between the interchange there. And, they last overlaid Camp Phillips, was that last year, 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
And I know when at that point, they said that was kind of their 10-year patch, and they necessarily weren't interested in relooking at that corridor for the next reconstruction for the next, that should get them 10 years, and then from that point on, we'd look at it again, so.
What about Ross and Camp Phillips? Isn't that getting a roundabout?
So that one does have a roundabout that's currently in design.
Okay. With a projected year of,
2029,
oh, really?
you believe? 28.
That's a long design.
Well, it all comes down to when the DOT allocates your funding. So we got the grant award, I want to say last year, and then the DOT says, here's your grant and you get to build that in this year. So it's not necessarily that's taking that long, it's just.
Any thoughts here?
Just at the beginning, when the construction of the campus was done between the 29 and Schofield Avenue, they put the sign for 30 miles per hour. I suggest go 25 or go 35. Forget 30. And it just didn't go through, and they just stuck with that 30 miles per hour. The problem is nobody even paying attention to the speed limit. They just drive the way they please. That's all it is to me. I drive that probably 3-4 times a week in the morning before 6 o'clock. And the speed there is, I mean, they turn and they fly, that's fine. But I think dropping it to 25 miles, yeah, it's doable. Because it is a collective road, it's not a, highway. And even when you get on the highway, it's 65 miles, nobody goes 65 miles.
True.
So with the number of residents at each side of that road, 25 miles, I think is doable. I think we should.
I'm not opposed to dropping the speed limit. I just, as some others here have alluded to, I struggle to see how that's gonna change anything without some enforcement to go along with it. Especially on that corridor. I mean,
It would just be a recommendation from this board to the Marathon County Committee that would oversee that.
Right.
That's all we're looking for right now tonight.
Yeah. Kind of think you come off of, if you're coming up Camp Phillips by the school, you're driving 25.
15 if school's in.
Yeah, school, but I mean, then you get up over here and it's 30 and it's like 30. It just seems like either it should be increasing or it should be dropping or staying at the 25.
So I'm looking for a motion.
I got a question for
Yeah.
Michael. Michael, did you put the right in, right out at Jelinek and Camp Phillips?
No, we did not do that.
I think we should do that. That's gonna help some.
So no left turn.
Yeah.
Right in,
Jelinek.
right out.
On Jelinek.
on Jelinek and Camp Phillips.
I mean, I like doing that, Jelnik, and I do go left. I go early in the morning. And, you know, I get out of there pretty easy, actually. Going in there, you know, from 10 to 5:30, no,
No,
it's only right.
So is there certain
And
time?
then do I take a right when I come off the highway? Yep, I love that new road. I love it. I just think it's pretty neat. Yeah.
I thought, because I had brought this up to you, I thought at some point during construction last year, or it might have been before that. And I thought that there was gonna be some signs out there
Yeah,
that weren't gonna
no.
allow left-hand
I think
turns.
that got missed there. I mean, I think the one clarity was trying to figure out if there was a time limit. Do we ever put a time? Like, was it just between like,
just put it out there. By the time, unless you wanna put the traffic count in there, say, okay, between, I don't know.
yeah,
when
I
the
don't,
Traffic
one
starts,
concern would be, you know, kind of like, I mean, Louis Shorty kind of alluded to it, you know, some of the neighborhood already goes up to, Robin, you know, through there.
Quick Trip,
To
yeah.
Quick Trip. Do we end up pushing more people through the residential neighborhood then? And when they realize they can't turn left at East Jelnik, do they start turning on Kirk Street, on Rodney Street?
Yeah.
Do we-
Well, I'll take the first one and go up to the roundabout, come in front of come around
Sure.
Rennis. I just have no stress.
Yeah,
When I do that, I have no stress. I don't have to worry about when I get to the end of Jelnik, am I gonna make this left and how many cars am I gonna have to wait for? I go up there and I know I got a controlled intersection, boom, I'm gone. Yeah.
Just for a point of order,
yeah, it's,
the agenda item is the speed.
Yep.
I think the discussion about East Jelinek should be referred back to
Yep.
Public Works.
So what's everybody's thought on the recommendation for the speed to Marathon County? I need a motion.
Well, I guess I would like to hear the chief's report at the next board meeting, so I'd like to
Okay,
wait
okay.
to hear his opinion.
Everyone else waits. Is everyone else okay in that, or do they
Make
want
a
to make a
motion to
motion?
defer for 30 days.
Make a motion to defer for 30 days. Is there a second?
Second,
Second by Jordan. Any more on the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 30 days. Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for bringing it
Thank
to our attention. All right. Let's see, I'm gonna, if you don't mind, can we go to 39? Yes, 39. Sorry. Discussion and or action on request for re-examination of flooding concerns at Crane Meadows Golf Course. And you want to address the board? I know there's a bunch in the packet. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dan Wylup, 6304 Weston Ave.
Dan, do you want to come up to the podium just because it's,
Thank you. You can have a seat or whatever. Yeah.
Hopefully it's
You
not that long.
don't have to stand.
I guess, I have asked for reconsideration, a couple of different times. Just a little bit of a refresher is last year, we had a substantial amount of rain. And there was road construction on Weston Ave that put retention ponds across from the golf course. The retention ponds took on more water than the level of the golf course land. And water finds equilibrium and found it through the road up our property. Took me probably about 5 to 7 days to figure out where the water was coming from. I contacted the village at that point, and then it took about a week or so before action started happening. It was a very unfortunate circumstance. Michael was on vacation. I think if Michael would have been on vacation, I think it would have been dammed up and pumped a lot sooner. But nonetheless, it was additional week, and then it took approximately a week after that to really get the water back under control. Because I'm sorry, the wildlife, what is it called?
yeah, the Dale Smith Wildlife.
Yeah, Wildlife Center, all of that water was essentially draining through the retention pond through my golf course. And it created a substantial business loss for Crane Meadows. It created a serious amount of extra work. We rented pumps, we bought pumps, we rented actually a farmer's 8-inch pump that moves, I wanna say something like I think it's like 15 to 1,800 gallons per minute. We put on 120 hours on that pump. So if you can imagine moving, I don't know how many acres of water, that wildlife preserve is.
Where did you discharge all that water?
The discharge went to the same spot that all of it was going.
How far
The
away?
creek, about 300 feet, 350 feet to the.
The reason I'm asking that question is, when you do that kind of pump with the low groundwater, you recharging it continuously.
It was.
It doesn't drop it. It maybe drop it a little bit here and there, but I had that experience with it, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, so I had to do everything in my power to get the water off the grass. Because when you have 85-degree and sunny days and 4 inches, 6 inches of water on top of grass, it kills it
Sure.
very quickly. And so even if I could get that water off of that grass for 1 day, just to have it rise up again, I was better off. And this is after talking to a golf course consultant. Because I talked to many people in the profession about what do I do. This was an unprecedented flooding. I've heard comments, Crane Meadows is always wet. It is. It is. Hole 4, we can't help but have puddles, but you can play through the puddles. Typically, a golf course closes for rain. Crane Meadows typically closes, rather than 1 day, it closes 2 days. That's kind of if we get a substantial rain, let's call it 2 to 4 inches of rain, we're usually closed the day of rain and the day after, and then we're back to open. Historically, you can go through our Facebook page, that's what it is. This was, I think we got like 8 to 10 inches in a matter of over 3 weeks. We were closed for 3 weeks. That is not normal. We took on a substantial amount of water that we should have never had. And we would have been closed for some of this time. I completely agree, but we're very good at moving water up to make the course playable and keep it in pretty good shape. Yes, wet, but playable. There was 0% chance we could do that with this circumstance. This was unlike anything that has ever happened at the golf course. And we discussed this many times, it feels like. I believe it's known at this point of where the water came from, how it happened. I have recourses, obviously, that I can go about. It's not who I am or what I want to do. I am not a litigious person by any means. I just feel that this was a situation where this business was hurt fairly substantially in the year 2024. And I didn't feel like I should be the only one holding the bill for that, those costs. You know, you guys talk about budgets, your guys' top line, I don't know what the village's is. You know, your budget, let's just say your annual budget is $25 million. I don't know what it is. The golf course's budget is probably about $300,000 a year, $350,000 a year. It's about what we spend on any given year. And this was about $50,000. So try losing 1/6 of your year. As far as revenues go, or as far as budget goes. And this wasn't a situation where I was closed and not occurring costs. We actually had more labor in that time frame trying to keep Green 9 alive, keep Fairway 9 alive. Fairway 1 actually took more of a brunt than 9 because how far the water had infiltrated across 9. So these were the challenges that we had. I guess I'm more or less at a loss. I've been trying to work with the village, and I'm just hoping that it doesn't have to go to further decisions on my side.
Questions? Oh, I thought you had your hand up.
No.
Oh, okay.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Did you file a claim with your insurance agency?
Did not.
Can I ask why not?
I didn't feel like it was my fault, so I filed a claim with your guys' insurance.
Okay.
Like, I guess, should I have maybe in hindsight, because then they would fight it out potentially, but I don't know. Just as I don't require PGA to file a claim when a golf ball hits their equipment in their parking lot, I pay for it. Or actually the neighbor's house at the driving range. They don't file a claim, I go, I have it, it's caused by me, I'll take care of it. Maybe the way I was raised.
Questions, discussion? Joe?
So have there been any issues this summer so far as water?
There has not been any issues this summer. We've had some fairly wet periods. 9 has barely been puddled and has not been any of the reasons why we would close the course. We've closed for rain post the rain event. So when I say 2 days, the second day, we've closed, I believe, twice now, and it's been off of holes 5 and 4 being the problem, which, as I talked about last year, historically, if we're closed, it's because of hole 2, 4, and 5. It's never been 9.
So the rain day and the day after? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And we put in an automated pumping system on 2. That 2 is no longer gonna be our problem child anymore. So it's really 4 and 5 if they get wet at this point. And we're going to be doing some groundwork to even eliminate that in the future of trying to get it into the woods rather, crown the wet areas so that the water goes into the wet areas.
Did 9 get burned? I saw some verbiage in there about doing some stuff at on 9.
9 had dead grass for 6 weeks.
No, not burned, bermed.
Oh.
Yeah, you had.
Yeah, I
mentioned
mean,
that.
I know one of the comments I'd made was just trying to raise up
Yeah.
that low point so
Right.
that I think it is just kind of a natural depression in there, so. Yeah, I mean, it will puddle, but I think what you've mentioned here is that the damming of the south ditch line and not allowing that overflow water into the ponds did seem to have a positive impact.
Yes, one of my concerns was if that pond was to retain water, even after the damming, that it would artificially raise the water table there. And I would say we've had some pretty good rain events this year and I'm not seeing that. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm a little bit worried about the dam height. She's been with about 2 or 3 inches at the top of that.
Yeah, no, trust me, I spend more time driving up and down that portion of Weston Avenue than I probably want to admit.
Yeah. So I don't spend any time driving up and down because it's always closed. So that's a joke. Road construction.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, and Joe?
So, Michael, just your opinion, what you did then last fall seems like it has mitigated the problem.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Damming to the east, right?
Correct, yeah, and
Not letting it fall, okay.
So then I guess my question would be, so I know that we had an unusual rainfall that caused that issue a year ago, but given the same type of event again, if in fact what you did really did preclude that from happening, do we have some responsibility in that from last year? You know, I mean, it's like, so if the actions that he's taken have helped to mitigate that, is it likely then that significant rainfall that we had last year might not have impacted his course? If it weren't for that, you get where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm. We've had some big rain this year.
So,
Decent rain.
so I'm personally inclined to reconsider asking the insurance company to look at that based on what was done last fall and the history that we've had so far this season.
For clarification, the claim is denied, so it is closed with insurance. If you would have a reconsideration tonight, we would likely ask for you to include in the motion where you'd like it allocated from, if it would come out of TIF one. But it would be an allocation from the village. The insurance has denied the claim.
And the ask, I believe, is not 47, the ask is half.
Yes, we would have been closed. I'm not trying to,
So it's the loss you're stating is like 47,000,
oh yeah,
but your ask is like 23 or 24.
yes, we
Right.
would have been closed about half of that amount of time.
Yep.
We
Okay.
would have had revenue. There was sun 7 days in a row, no joke, 7 days in a row, we had straight sun. And we were completely underwater on 9. We eventually decided to open up as an 8-hole course. And even had a couple of days of that, just because the rest of the course was in very good condition and we couldn't get 9. And then where 1 tees off is right next to 9, and so like it kind of
Right.
that whole area you could.
And I know in the copy that we had put together that you had added to, some people just left the door. They just wouldn't consider 8 holes.
Oh, yeah.
Were they asking, geez, could I play 1 over again? And that wasn't an issue. They wanted to play 9 different holes.
Yeah,
Okay.
the amount of people that were extremely upset with Crane Meadows was wild. As I was pulling out hair and doing night shift pumping, because that was my job. I wouldn't put it on my grounds crew. I was just in shock. I think you guys in a public setting probably see it a little bit more than me, where damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Were they upset with Crane Meadows because they like golfing? Crane Meadows?
Yeah, we were.
And they were disappointed that they couldn't.
We had members that were upset, that were, why would I be a member if you're never open mentality, and it's like.
Yeah, Steve?
Michael, who engineered that stretch of road?
AECom, right?
AECom was the engineer on it, and I mean, we didn't do groundwater borings on that, on the pond. The overflow, I mean, everything there. We would have paid a lot more to have the hydrogeologist. I mean, in my personal opinion, the amount of money that Mr. Wylop has claimed, we would have paid for in engineering fees to have had that done. We might have ended up with a liner that would have been about $100,000 extra on the project. Like there would have been a lot more costs in the construction and design of that project. So, I mean, if we're looking at that, and
But then who at the end put the dam up? That was you.
that was me.
So that costs us, you didn't charge us $100,000.
I did not,
But
no.
that dam,
Well,
that dam
Next-
sounds like it did a heck of a
So the
job.
whole point of those ponds was to increase storage capacity so that the creek that flowed through Crane Meadows would be able to ride at a lower rate so that it didn't overflow as it went through the golf course and the few other properties downstream, because Shorey Avenue historically will flood kind of by Kmichik and Ryan Street there. So it was a way to look at, the surface water aspect of it. So the surface water, the stormwater side is what was really studied and looked at from the storage capacity aspect. The groundwater infiltration, recharge wasn't part of that scope of work. So I guess that's.
Okay, Shane?
Michael, he did boring for the road, didn't he?
Yeah, and I mean, it's,
That should be the same. That pond and the swamp, the other side of the road, they are the same elevation. If you take measure the elevation on Zenzer, where the golf course is, all the way to Shorey, you don't see much of the drop. So all that area is the same elevation.
correct, yeah, I mean, elevation wise, it's all, I mean, it's flat, right? There's-
Yeah, the
Correct.
groundwater is the same too.
Yeah, I mean, so that was the point of the pond, was to try to create a reservoir so that water would we'll go through and, you know, use rough, you know, we didn't go and survey, you know, the entire golf course. We didn't survey the farm fields. We didn't survey all those areas upstream, downstream either. So I mean, 6 inches, you know, you generally use a 2-foot contour map to get the general idea of which way water flows. Which you're not gonna capture that 6-inch difference between, you know, a fairway or, you know, even, you know, modifications that somebody makes to their yard. So
Yeah, well, I had originally concern when, you know, it came up and I thought, well, gee, I wonder if it is or not. Well, and the insurance denied it, so that was the end of it for us. But then you went in and put in that dam.
well, we did that before. That was done in
If that didn't
July.
happen, if that didn't happen, we would have been closed for probably 2 to 3 more weeks.
Okay, but I mean, it whatever, when you put the dam in before or after it was denied.
No, yeah, I mean,
It seemed to help your situation. So in my mind, I'm sitting there and thinking, well, what we did must have affected your golf course, but yet, like I
No,
said.
the dam
when it
helped.
Helped, yes,
They don't call him Beaver for nothing.
Yes.
So, yep,
but, so
small attempt, I think,
I'm-
small attempt.
I'm wondering, you know, a little leery of going forward when our insurance denied, but yet they denied just about everything.
I can tell you why they denied. He wouldn't put it in writing. But essentially, he said that eminent domain, if the insurance company does not need to cover, so therefore never would, even if the village was done. Or even if he had it dead to rights, the village did it, he was still gonna deny because of what's afforded to government.
Yeah, immunity.
It's immunity, yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry,
immunity.
what did I say?
No, that's okay,
Eminent domain.
eminent domain.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
But
same thing, just
I knew what
very
you,
different.
I knew what was
Yeah,
right.
immunity. And, but everything that I've talked to as far as legalese, so to speak, is essentially, it would end up going to the next level. But the village would be my step, and then the village would have to get the engineering firm and it's what's, in my perspective, what's a reasonable amount would probably get chewed up in lawyer fees between myself, the village, eventually the engineering firm, everything along those lines. This is gonna be a much greater than 6-figure situation. And it's just not who I am, it's not what I want, I just want to be made relatively whole.
Depending on I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, so I was gonna say, I spent a few hours going through your Facebook page, back to, I think, 2013, when the page was created, and yeah, you can see at the course, there is a history of some water issues there. And, you know, I kept a spreadsheet, okay, this year they posted they were closed this many days, this year they were posted this many days. And then you get to 2024 and it was like a really, really long list. And when you saw the pictures of the water, and I certainly understand we had a crazy amount of water. I remember standing in the middle of Stewart Avenue and 17th in knee-deep water, and that's not something you normally see. But the difference is that it went away after about an hour or two. And it's clear from the pictures you see on there that this just kept going and kept going. So I highly respect the amount of work that you and everybody else put into trying to get that playable, because it's clear from the comments on there, people are passionate and they wanted to get out there, especially on the good weather days. My concern overall is, you know, taking this loss that may have not been caused by us, we found a solution for it, and putting it onto the taxpayers. When it may be, okay, it was an engineering issue, maybe it was this issue, but I also recognize that if we go that route, it's probably gonna cost us way more than trying to make him somewhat whole. So I guess my final concern is, I don't have a problem entering into these discussions about what can we do to make it right. I am concerned about doing that maybe in an open setting or trying to negotiate it during a meeting. And preventing future instances. We don't know if we have a unprecedented event like that again, because we haven't had that. Are we gonna run into a similar issue? Is that dam gonna be able to hold? Is he gonna have flooding on hole 9 again? We don't know that. And if we enter into we gave them $25,000 to make things better, and all of a sudden this happens again, and we're trying to figure out a solution because maybe we need a liner. Maybe this was an overall engineering issue, because I certainly don't know the answer to that. I guess that's my concern.
Like, I can answer part of that. I mean, as far as future, we did make that. So those ponds were meant where if the creek were to back up and water tries to flow west again, if it gets over the dam, there is a built-in kind of a time frame there where, because those ponds are only collecting water that directly falls into them or on that small section of Weston Avenue. So those ponds were sized to handle some backwater flow. So, you know, when we get rain events, like I said, I've been out there checking it, making sure that they're not backflowing. You'll see that culvert across Progress Way there. Generally speaking, it looks like it's about 5 feet, I think, above the water level. I can tell you last year that was not 5 feet above water, that was underwater. So, I mean, there was, I mean, the pond stored water. But so we've got built-in time where if that were to ever start backing up, where, you know, we can dam that back up, that first pond, the little L-shaped one, you know, that'll hold water first before it would start backing into the other one, which I think, you know, there are, you know, we can plug that culvert, we can do things before it would get to that point where it's massively backflowing. You know, Dan made a comment where if I wasn't in South Dakota when he would have called, things probably would have happened at least 5 days sooner than they did. Because that, unfortunately, over those days, I think it did allow water to keep flowing the wrong way.
The water was flowing into.
It was flowing west.
It wasn't flowing down the creek, it was flowing to those ponds. And then I was pumping it out on my side, so I was part of the problem for it, but
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Luigi, did you have a concern of negotiating an open session?
Yes.
Because I think we should be negotiating an open session.
Okay.
I mean,
We did review what you can go into closed session for. We didn't find that it fell within any of
That's
the
actually
statutes.
why this is being done here, and I don't think we even asked Dan, but this is where it belongs. It belongs here. If anybody wants to hear this, they certainly can. And I think something like this comes up in a couple of years, we handle it again. Not with him, but with somebody else. Hey,
Yeah, I would prefer not with me.
yeah, I know, but you did this with Crane Meadows, and now I expect this. Hey, it's a whole nother set of circumstances, but I think this is the most transparent, the best way to handle it.
Yeah, and
I also agree with both of you. And
I agree with having a lot of conversation and open. I'm certainly a proponent for transparency, and I want that. What I get concerned about is when we're going back and forth, and is he, you know, answering questions from us that all of a sudden he's saying something and then we're saying something, and then that's gonna come back as, okay, I don't know, that's where I get concerned about liability.
I mean, months ago, the negotiating was done. You had an ask, and that ask has stayed the same. In fact, it was last year's ask. It's the same, and it is, and it's more out of, I can't, you had a couple words on it. It's about, you know, who you are. Like you said, you take care of windshields and stuff at PGA. It's the right thing. And
If this was private party,
Mhm.
private party and private party, the insurance company of the person that did this would be jumping at a settlement as fast as they possibly can. Like, when I have spoke to my lawyer about what I should be doing or what I shouldn't be doing and all of these sorts of things, it was very evident that it was like, oh boy, there is like pages of water law in the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I had said right to her, I said, look, I'm just made whole. I don't care. I was gonna lose money on being closed. It's part of business, but I said it just didn't seem fair for the amount of effort and the legitimate dollars that I spent. And the hours that I'm not a paid employee of Crane Meadows. Technically, I'm not an employee, and my wife owns Crane Meadows. I'm not even on the payroll. So I own the land, half of it. Like the amount of hours that I personally, there's not 1 cent in there for me in it. It is covered. And then I even said last year was the first year since we've owned the golf course that we weren't in bonus land at the golf course. I call it bonus land, right? Once you hit a profitability metric, and every year we share about 10 to 15% of the employees' annual wages in a form of a bonus. Last year, I was like, guys, I can't in good nature. I also said that I was going to give sizable raises at the golf course. I did that this year. I foot that bill. And I would like, these are the things that I was going to say, this is what I'm using these funds for. I'm not going and buying a jet ski. I guess is where it's
You
coming
used
from.
it on the golf course.
So
We used it on 9 last year.
the request was, for the reimbursement amount was $5,853 for costs and $18,560 for lost revenue, for a total of $24,413. I have that up on the screen. And I guess I would ask if that's the determination of the board. I don't think it's unreasonable that we would ask Attorney Edie to draft something to say, this is for Crane Meadows and this is what it's for, and this matter is then closed.
Out of TIF one.
Not a TIF one.
Yeah, TIF one,
Okay, so where does the money come from, Jamie?
TIF one.
TIF one.
That's the road construction.
The road
It's all a
construction.
TIF, that TIF is paying for.
Okay.
I'm looking for motion.
I'll make a motion to refer this to the attorney, draw up a contract agreement. And
For that dollar amount?
yes, for $24,413 for damages done.
Motion by Ermeling,
Second.
second by Jordan. Any more in the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
So we have 4 yeses and 2 nos. So motion passes 4-2. Thank you. Thanks, Dan. Yep. All right, moving back to 35 ordinances, ordinance number 25-010. An ordinance amending chapter 2 administration section 2.214 standing committees of the municipal code for the village of Weston, Marathon County, Wisconsin. Pleasure.
That was just adding, well, I read it and I
Just one word in there.
I was gonna say, there was just something minor, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Ermeling motion by Ermeling,
Yeah.
I'll second.
second by Cronin. Anything on the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Unfinished business, new business, discussion and or action on president's appointments to committees and or commissions. Let's see here. So, working on the left, if that chart is up, what page is that on?
271.
Thank you. Works out pretty nice. So working up on the top left, Community Development Authority, Mark Kern, I'm asking for an appointment of Mark Kern to join that Community Development Authority, which hasn't been meeting for several years, but it's going to start.
Oh,
Okay, moving down that same file, Community Life and Public Safety Clips, the chair. I'm nominating Louis Lopes Serrero as chair. Let's see, also appointing Mark Kern as citizen to fill Louis' position as citizen in that committee. Moving down that same column, Finance and Human Resource Committee, I'm taking myself off and appointing Louis Lopez Serrero as vice chair. And also asking for an appointment of Eben Soper as citizen member of the Finance and Human Resource Committee. Him and Mark Kearns both had applied for the trustee position last time. They were each one of the 4 that applied. Brent is on a couple committees and let's see, so moving up on the top right, coming down to Mountain Bay Oversight Board, we now have a vacancy with a resignation tonight. Where I want to go a month with that. So if anyone here wants to put their name out there for me, let me know. I know I have already one, but we'll see where that ends up. Park and Rec, now we have an open chair position. Can we go a month without that? Or what do you think?
We would otherwise have the 4 spots, so as long as we kept a quorum, we could
Okay.
go a month.
Okay, yeah, with Tatro on now, okay. So if somebody is looking for that position, or Barb, you want to move into that, that's up to you.
You're not traveling in July, are you? Barb? I mean, okay, we're good then.
Okay, we're good, all right. Plan Commission is okay, Public Works. Last time we put Fred Schuster on that one, Safer is fine.
No, we're
Fred
adding
would be
Fred
tonight.
Schuster that tonight.
Well, that's
Last time we
Yeah,
put
that's
Fred
tonight.
Schuster.
Yes,
on
you're right,
the
you're right. So I'm also asking for an appointment of Fred Schuster as citizen member of Public Works and Utility Committee. Let's see, Gene Jack and Scott Tatro. Tourism, Fred Schuster is still on there. But now with him on Public Works, we'll see where that ends up. And Zoning Board of Appeals is good, Vice Chair, Steve. Okay, that's what I'm asking for appointments for this evening.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Zagami,
Second.
second by Ermeling. Anything on the question? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried, thank you. Let's see, public drawing for available non-reserved Class B liquor license. Going through the packet, you'll notice that we had 4 people, what?
Only one.
Yeah, only one. So only one actually applied. I think we sent notices out to 4, but only Tyne and Seller came back.
Correct.
So as of tonight, do you need a motion on that? We do? So
Well, and an acknowledgement that we would be
offering it
offering it
to Tyne and Seller.
Yep.
Okay, DBA,
because we would approve their application.
okay, so we need that motion.
I move to acknowledge that in light of Masgay LLC, doing business as Tyne and Seller, having been the only establishment which provided a letter of interest in the non-reserved Class B intoxicating liquor license, that it be chosen as the establishment to apply for the available non-reserved Class B intoxicating liquor license.
Motion by Cronin,
Second.
second by Jordan. Anything on the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so carried. 38, discussion and or action on server and network equipment replacement. What's your pleasure?
I move to approve the agreement with Heartland Business Systems for the replacement of firewall, network core, and data center hardware.
Motion by Ermeling to approve, second by Zagami. Anything on the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 41, discussion and or action on potential implementation of an annual fire fee. I think we moved that to another month from finance and, go ahead.
Is there an opportunity? I know there was a few board members here that were present during that meeting that heard that, and I think maybe giving everybody here an opportunity to provide some feedback to Jessica before it goes back to joint finance would be
Sure.
appropriate.
Sure.
I know, Louis, you were in the office, so I don't know, or I'm in the office, in the audience, so I don't know if you had something that you'd like to.
I mean, so sitting in the audience, I guess part of my my feelings was that I would prefer that it goes to referendum. I know we discussed referendum before and I was like, yeah, bring it on. I'll sign up for that. I support our fire department. I want them to be better staffed. I want them to be better supported. I think when you hear the stories of things that have happened in our community and Mark, you even said it, like, people were like, yeah, I would pay an extra so much money for that. We're getting the consent of the people that they wanna pay that to have that service. And I think it's one thing for us to add fees because I don't know, I just think when we're talking about changing a service level, I think it's the benefit of that. And people need to understand the referendum would allow people to voice that they want that service. And if they vote against it, they're voting that they don't want that service and that there's gonna be those consequences. I understand the consequences that it leaves us with making decisions about funding or the fire department with staffing levels. But we've talked a ton about transparency, and I guess that's just my personal feeling.
Timeframe on a referendum is what?
Yeah, it's 70 days before the election. We'd have to do a resolution, so we have time.
We needed to have a resolution last December.
Because we don't have a fall election, so we wouldn't be able to do referendum till spring.
Mhm.
And then with that referendum in spring, we would then basically educate on the referendum and the needs for it, but also have a plan B that if it fails, we've got to do something.
If I could just real quick, so we're kind of up against the wall now because as everybody knows, we have that SAFER grant that we applied for. Those grants will be awarded by September. We will probably, and I don't know their schedule obviously, but we will probably start to hear about them. We just had this discussion today. I would say sometime between now and our next meeting, we may get an offer. We may get denied. We obviously don't know. My question at this point is that if we do get offered a grant, I don't know if we should, I need to give them an answer if we're accepting the grant or not. And obviously, if the village is going to go the direction of a referendum, I think, and this is obviously probably something that the SAFER board would have to make a decision on. I think if we're gonna go the direction of a referendum, we almost have to turn down the grant because we don't know that we can fund it. If we're going to accept it, we have to know that we're gonna have the money to fund our portion of it. And if we don't know that we can have that money, I don't know that we can accept it. So we're in a little bit of a pickle right now.
Well, I think the SAFER board would have to commit to saying, we want to fund this, but it's gonna be up to the municipality to figure out how they're gonna fund it, whether it's
Already committed to that.
Yeah, we already made that decision, but if
The SAFER board already made that.
the SAFER board gave us the permission to move forward to apply for the grant. And when one of the questions in the grant, it says that if you are awarded the grant, do you have to basically ask permission from a governing board to accept it? And I said yes, within 14 days, because the theory was that we can get a board meeting put together within 14 days. But if one of the municipalities doesn't have the ability to fund it, because in conversations with Jessica and Jamie, if there's not the fire fee and a referendum fails, I don't believe that there is any way to fund it. Then we would have to say no to the grant. We can't accept the grant and then like 6 months later say, actually, we can't afford it. So we're in a little bit of a pickle, I guess I would say.
Oh, sorry.
How much more do you need beside the grant?
Well, the grant will cover 65% of the cost, and the cost is
35.
approximately $1 million. So the two municipalities have to pay for 35% of the 1 million. So obviously about 350,000.
It changes every year.
And it changes every year. That's just the grant. And obviously our union has a 3% wage increase next year. We don't know what health insurance is gonna do. So there's other increases just besides the additional staff that we're gonna see every year. So for year one and year two, the municipalities pay 35% of the grant, and then year three, the municipalities pay for 65% of the grant. In year four, the municipalities pay for 100% of those costs.
And remember, this year, help me with the correct wording, we utilized fund balance, unspent proceeds, fund balance for SAFER. So we were all 105.
We will have to, we're already down when we're looking at budget if you're not changing a single thing. If you're not gonna apply fund balance again, we'd use the grants an additional $103,000 just to plug the hole that we filled last year.
Yes.
Last year, our total allowable levy increase was $122,000
Increase.
increase.
Yep.
That was a 2.2% net new construction. Which was a pretty high. We had not seen that high for quite a while.
And just because we don't have a fall election, if we couldn't do it for next year, we'd have to fill that hole for 2026 because we wouldn't otherwise have any method.
And then all the union contracts we have to manage.
Well, I guess my thought is I want the residents to have a chance to have it put on their tax roll rather than as a fee. If they say no, I guess then we're gonna have to go with fee.
Well, I guess that's the point. We're kind of beyond that right now with the grant decision coming. I mean, if we get awarded the grant, we don't have the luxury of sending it to a referendum. Is that not what you
No,
were
you're-
trying to tell everybody?
You're correct. Yeah. Because like Jamie had said, there's not the opportunity for a fall referendum this year.
Just a question, how much it add to our tax, that 350,000?
You couldn't raise it that much, could you?
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to.
You wouldn't be able
You
to.
won't be able to?
No, because you'd be constrained to 0% or net
Right.
construction.
Last year,
That's a
we could
referendum.
increase 122,000. That was it. That's all we can increase our levy.
We had like 2-something% growth.
Yeah, about 2.2.
If you did something with a referendum or a fee next year or whatever, we would have to somehow dam that with cutting other departments, other things to make it to that point. I don't know how else you do it.
Yeah, we'd have to make other determinations, other decisions.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, go
okay,
ahead.
so if we do the referendum, when it, because I kept wondering why we weren't doing it. If we did the referendum and it passed, well, that would be great. If it didn't, and our backup plan would be that we would have to go to fees, why wouldn't we be able to fund? What's the difference?
Well, because the referendum wouldn't run until April, so we're already a quarter into the new year, and I don't know how that works out fiscally. Let Jessica speak to that.
The next year, like it would go on to the tax bill then the next year. You'd already have
2027.
tax bills out, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
you
we'd
wouldn't
be a
be
year
able to do the
behind.
fee until the next year.
Well, and we're gonna have to subtract 200,000 from our levy to cover the fee that we're gonna collect. So where are we getting ahead there?
In
We're
the
not sure it's
future-
two,
Well,
120 is the
whatever.
estimate.
Yeah, I'm just using that as a,
One of the negatives that we talked about when we were talking about the pros of a fee is that in the future, a lot of the referendums, you've got to go for a referendum again.
They're not
This one will be able to continually to support the fire department with the fee.
yeah, but that,
Just even if the referendum passes, it couldn't be into perpetuity, right? It would have a time frame on it and then we'd have to go back and do that process again.
I mean, everything falls on the board on how you want to fund in the priorities of the village. If the board says, you know, we only need half the staff, you can let us go. The village would maintain at a minimum and you'd be able to fund more of your public safety without having these tough questions and decisions. But right now, with an allowable levy increase of 122,000, we can't fund much. We've been transferring street maintenance to borrowing for the last like 5 years. We can't do that much longer because you can't borrow for operations. There's just no more way to get money. Like I said, we're closing our TIF. We'll have some additional funds, but it's not closed yet. We don't have those funds and we're not gonna get them for a couple of years.
So,
Go ahead.
so how do we,
Louis had his hand.
how do we have the cart in front of the horse? I mean, if we haven't hired these 9 positions yet?
Correct. We haven't even been approved for the grant yet. I think we have.
You haven't,
upon our-
you have not hired them at this point.
No.
That's correct.
Okay, all right, just want to understand that.
Mhm.
So, and I totally support the department, but I'm with Brent. I mean, there's just no way that I just cannot stomach another fee.
I mean, I guess from my perspective, hearing the voice of what I heard so far is that if the plan is to go to referendum, I need to know soon because I need to withdraw our grant request. Because if the plan is to go to referendum, we can't support, I know for sure that we can't support 9 staff starting next year. So then we would need to pull that grant request.
Unless somebody else able to take it.
Right. If that's a decision of the board, I think that's a decision the board needs to make tonight, so I can, because like I said, the grants are being processed as we speak, and they told us they would be awarded by September, and it takes them several weeks to award them. So I mean, I don't know for sure, don't take this for sure, but we may get a call within 2-3 weeks. I think that'd be early on, but there's potential there, and I don't want to say, yes, we can take it, when realistically, there's no way that we can.
So the only thing I would say is, I remember being a citizen and sitting in that audience and hearing conversations about the possibility of a referendum last year. And the conversation was that referendums tend to be more popular and supportive in the spring. And yet we chose not to have a referendum this spring, which kind of put us into this emergency. So it's not the fault of our citizens that we kind of put ourselves into this pickle. But we still need to figure out what to do with it, and then we need to make these tough decisions. I don't want us personally withdrawing from the grant. I think we have to figure out a way to fund it. Even if we chose to, even if the will of the board was to talk about the fire fee, we'd still be discussing that at a meeting next month, which is past the timeline anyway. And we don't even know that that would pass at the meeting next month. So either way, I think we have to follow through with the grant requests. But I just think it would be more transparent and better that we get the people's opinion on it.
I don't know if this is possible, and this is trying to think out of the box, but yeah, you need to have them turn down the grant if they got it. Could we, and I don't like fees, so could we implement the fee for this year, but go for referendum? And if the referendum fails, we just keep the fee. And if people want it put on their tax roll, they'll approve it. I don't
You're
know.
gonna be out $200,000 because you have to take the deducting.
Well, you're gonna anyway, aren't you?
But you
Not
wouldn't,
if you go for referendum, you don't have to take a deduct.
No, but
So what I'm saying is you're gonna have to take a decrease of $200,000 and then you're gonna say, we're gonna take away the fee.
So what you're saying is we won't recover the levy limit loss that we're gonna incur.
If you decide to take the deduct and then go for a referendum, you're not gonna get.
and you're telling me that 200,000 is lost forever. We just gotta make it up on new construction. I thought that's what you told me. That 200,000 is gone.
Once you take the deduct, yes.
Once
Once you implement, the fire fee is gone. So I think what she's trying to say is that it probably wouldn't be the best financial course of action to implement a fire fee and then a year later take the fire fee away, because then you're kind of wasting the $200,000 in levy.
Well, you're not getting it back no matter what.
If you do the fire fee, you're not getting it back. If you never do the fire fee, you don't lose it.
Well, I know, but
It's totally up to the board. I mean.
The biggest.
We met in February and we were told to explore this instead of a referendum. So that's what we did. So that's now where we're.
We didn't want to go to referendum.
I do recall that being
Yeah, I do
on a
too.
board meeting back in February.
I mean, I remember years ago when I was sitting in a building several blocks away from here. And, we built this building and we built it with no referendum. With everyone, even on the building committee, everybody, the board said it. We go for referendum, we'll never get it. We'll never get the building. So we pushed through. I believe we made the right choice. There's probably some people that don't agree with me, but I personally feel we made the right choice. I believe we built a nice building that's gonna last a long time. And this elected group sometimes has to make really tough decisions. And I mean, I spent a lot of time thinking of certain things we could take out of it to save some money, but in the end, we ended up building the building. I remember Mort McBain saying at the shovel toss, that the board had made a really, really tough decision and pushed it through. And we did, you know, then there's still people out there naysaying and it'll never stop. Michael, you had your hand up?
I was just thinking, if you implement the fee, yes, you have to take the levy hit, but wouldn't you be able to recoup that in a referendum if the referendum gets approved?
Probably.
Okay,
Okay.
Referendum.
So that is a possibility.
Worse because it's gonna be a bigger number.
correct.
You'll just have to recover what you lost.
I just wanna make clear if I can, is that from my perspective, we have to, if we're going to continue to pursue the grant, I think we need to be 100% committed to accepting that grant and being able to find funding. And I don't wanna speak for Jessica, but that means that if we're not going to do a fire fee, she needs to somehow find $400,000 in a budget, which I don't know that that's doable. I don't wanna speak for the village's budget. I don't understand it that well. Because if we accept the money and then at the last minute say, hey, we can't figure out how to fund this and we have to give it back, I would say the chances of us getting a federal grant again are really close to zero.
So we're talking about $1 million addition. We're talking about a 35% pay the first year.
First 2 years.
Between two municipalities.
Correct.
The portion of that 35% of us is what, 75?
It's 2 something. I should have brought it with me. I don't have it in front of me. I could probably pull it.
Roughly 66%.
It's 66%.
66% of
Of $350,000.
150,000. But bear in mind, again, I wanna make it very clear that that is just for the additional costs. There will be, our current crews are getting raises. I'm sure there'll be health insurance costs increase, so it's gonna be, the final budget amount is gonna
That's
be.
gonna happen regardless.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct,
Plus 103
From last year.
from what last year.
yes.
We took the easy out last year because we thought we were gonna go for referendum.
So 231,
Right.
so 231 we'd be responsible for.
That was my thought.
And then the other portion would be on Rib Mountain's side. Rib Mountains said that they would not have to do a referendum, correct?
They have levy capacity, but they are also, they have brought on Ellers to explore a fire fee in 2027. They wouldn't need to institute next year, but they are discussing putting one for 2027.
Okay. Okay.
But when does so the grant money is for how many years?
It's a 3-year grant. Years 1 and 2, the federal government pays for 65% of the cost. Year 3, they pay for 35% of the cost. And then year 4 is 100% back.
First 2 years would be responsible for 231.
So what do you do then when you're responsible for all of it in year 4 or 5?
You raise the fee.
We plan for that now.
Raise the
You
fee.
gotta do it through the tax levy. There's no.
How much
way
is that?
I can
Million
support
some?
this.
And that's the direction I need tonight. If the plan is to do a referendum in spring, we need to withdraw our name from the grant request and then run the referendum next year.
So chief, the 100%.
No, wait a minute. Why would we have to do that?
Because we won't have, because the grant, the
You don't
referendum
know
won't
that.
run until April.
We don't know that. If we could do some pretty wild stuff to get it to go through the first year and then pass the referendum or fee. But why would we give away
We just, like,
65% for 2 years?
we just need to be 100% sure, because at least if we withdraw now, we could attempt to reapply again in the future, but like I said before, if something falls through and we can't come up with the, you know, the $300,000 budget increase or where we're going to have, plus the 100,000 from last year. So that's like a $400,000 increase. If we can't come up with that, and in November or December, I have to reach out to FEMA and say, hey, we can't make it work. That probably takes us out of the running for federal grants in the future. Where if we withdraw and then in 2027, we attempt to get it again, at least we'll have a chance. That's my thought behind it. Like I said earlier, I don't know the village budget nearly as good as Jessica and Jamie do, and if there's $400,000 to be found in there, but my guess is there probably is not.
As much as I know you would like a decision, that's not on the agenda tonight. That's not what the agenda item was.
Correct. Shane?
What's that 100% of that budget, $1.5 million.
Of the 9 firefighters,
Yeah,
it's just over $1 million.
over $1 million.
Correct.
66% is here.
Yeah, but at the 4 years or 3 years, we have to pay 100% of it. How are we gonna manage that? We have a problem with the 300,000 or 400,000 now. How are we gonna manage
You do
it?
700, yep.
Yep.
That's why you need a referendum.
Okay, so 41, to clarify Cronin's point, the action on potential implementation of an annual fire fee. I'm getting the feeling that that's a no.
Well, I mean, it's going back to
action on it
committee.
tonight.
There's no nothing.
There's nothing to take action on tonight.
Yes, it is. Discussion and or
Oh,
action.
no, because
Committee table.
yeah, it's
No,
tabled
it's
because
at
HR,
Yeah,
right?
What?
Yeah.
yeah.
HR wants it to come back next month. With possible different formulas on how to implement the fee.
Is there anything within the formula that the board would like to see that would change perspectives about the fee?
Well, you're looking at 432 on one of the formulas. And those are, I believe homes were in the low 50s and middle 50s. Correct? I don't know what percentage that is of the structure. But that did $432,000. And then businesses were 800, 600, 500, somewhere in there. I thought the highest one was 800. Go ahead.
I have a question about this. So you've got your chart there with the number of, you've got the square feet and the rate per square foot, correct? You look underneath. So for a 3,472 square foot house, what I'm seeing is that annually $52.08 is what they're gonna pay, correct?
Yes.
What are they paying right now?
Their taxes.
I understand. He's not a part member of the
I know,
board, so I'm not
I
gonna
know.
answer it. My question is, what are they paying right now? I understand that it's on the tax levy. I get that, but there's still gotta be somewhat of a number that we have.
Where do your tax?
Just on fire or on the entire fire department? So we'd almost have to include EMS. We'd have to include all of Safer. How could you pull out fire?
It would be extremely difficult to figure that out because somebody's 3,400 square foot house might be evaluated at $300,000 and the next person's might be $500,000. You know, whether they live on the water and, I mean, that'd be extremely difficult to put a number on.
Are you saying even Safer would be hard per square foot? Even a Safer charge here, that's what you're asking?
I guess.
Not
the reason-
fire.
So here would be where do your tax dollars go? We did this last year. Jessica did it last year for the budget. So out of what if your medium assessed home value is 250,000, your property tax bill for the village of Weston was $1,474. $45 of that goes to public safety per month. So that would be both Safer and Mountain Bay, but just to break it down, what are they paying?
So $45, and then what is the budget for police and what is the budget for Safer?
Total budget?
Total.
Well, what comes to the levy for the village of Weston from Safer is about 1.15 million.
So I have the numbers in front of me. Mountain Bay was 3.376 and Safer was 1.289.
And currently $45 for both.
Yeah, so
That's per month.
That's that's per month. That's not a year. So
But
we're
the other-
talking
the other one
$15
was-
a year.
The other one was yearly.
The other one was
Yes.
yearly.
So what I'm trying to do is just put this in perspective. I understand that everybody, it's scary because it's a fee, but the levy is dropping and offsetting part of that fee. Yes, it is. Is it not? We have to drop, how much on our levy do we have to drop?
about $200,000 we have to drop our levy.
Okay, then we don't have money to spend it on.
But it's being recovered by the fee.
The fee, besides referendum, the fee is the only way that we could raise a substantial amount of money to pay for the services we need.
You know, I know it's a small sample, but I sat in a room with 30 to 40 people in Rib Mountain. And I honestly, they all said they'd pay 100. I think they would have paid 200. There was, I know it was emotional. I know it was wild. But,
You know, everybody loves to sit here and say that we have to make hard decisions, but I'll tell you what, a hard decision for me is saying that we don't fund this and then nobody shows up when somebody calls. And to me, that's not the right decision either. So take that for what it's worth.
But all I would say to that is, why are we in the position that we are right now? When we could have done a referendum in the spring and we knew that this.
could have
issue
done a
was
whole
coming.
bunch of stuff. We weren't.
That's not the fault of.
We weren't, it certainly isn't the fault of the citizens. It's certainly the fault of this board and others that we weren't confident that we could get a marketing team. How do you put all that together? Who do you hire to do that? You know, that's $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 just to start. You know, I mean, look at that 72% approval rating that Everest did. I have no idea what their marketing was. They probably didn't need that much because they're so strong, but we aren't that strong. And then we also felt, and nobody has said it yet, and I'm gonna say it, nobody felt we could do a referendum after building this building. With some of the naysayers that are out there that continue to talk about this building and the Garage Mahal, the Taj Mahal, crap they put up on their signs. It's just the drumbeat continues over and over and over with no solutions. So you run this thing after a couple of years of this. I still get people calling me up, you know, other municipal people. They love this building. They love coming here, but they always have to do a little joke about it. And how would that fly at a referendum? So we go to a referendum and Jesus, they got just got a, you know, 100,000 square foot building for $16-17 million. I think it's a deal of a lifetime, but how do I convince everybody else? Go ahead, Pam.
I don't know if my memory serves me correct, but I think another thought was, since we had the reval and taxes were going up for some households, putting that referendum through in April, people were seeing that increase already, and then to be voting on another increase was.
It's not gonna happen.
My house went up $150,000. My taxes went up $153.
The
That's,
target.
I didn't put a lot of,
10,000 less.
when I heard a lot of people complaining about their assessments and stuff, and I'm going, what about your taxes? You know, I talked to a lot of people, you know, on the phone for 10-15 minutes, and then once they started realizing what was actually happening. And how many people did we have here at Board of Review?
This year,
Yeah. Zero after what we went through on the reappraisals. Zero. I've never been to a board review without 5 or 6 people here. This year, 0. Steve?
Something else I'd like to add, you know, for the last, I don't know, a couple of years now, I've sat in these meetings, I've looked at the monthly reports, the quarterly reports, and you know, as an officer yourself, burnout is a real thing, and you look at the numbers the number of calls that this department is running with the limited people that they have. We've got people who are there. I mean, we're at a point that we can't continue to put a Band-Aid on this. Something's got to be done, and I realize it's a hard decision. I get it.
I gotta tell you, I'm so proud. I can't believe we have the departments, both departments, you know, Safer and the Mountain Bay. But Safer, man, oh man, you know, for all the things you think should be happening, they're there. They're there. There's pride, there's training, there's new people coming in. I mean, the last couple of times we've done interviews and stuff, both you and Eric both said, we had a lot of good candidates, you know? And the mutual aid agreements we have with all the surrounding areas, holy mackerel. You know, we had a house completely engulfed in flames, and 15 minutes later, Riverside was up that mountain. I still can't believe it. It would take me that long to drive over there. And that's some big heavy equipment that doesn't go as fast as my car. But unfortunate that it was. And then you also had issues with the water having to go up the hill. You know, there wasn't enough pressure in the system to even get the water up there. We couldn't have got tankers there. We couldn't have refilled fast enough to get at it. Steve?
The one other thing I'd like to add is we are not getting part-time people to fill these positions like we used to. As alluded earlier tonight, I did apply because there was a need for it. I applied along with, how many other people applied the round that I was hired in?
We had 11
And
applications.
how many did we hire?
Well, we hired 4. There's only
3.
one.
Well, 4, 1 dropped out, and then the other 2 decided to take on a
Part-time.
different position.
Yeah. So there's
So-
only 1 left.
I'm now the only one that was hired, and I haven't even gone through training yet because it doesn't make sense to run a training class for 1 person. And I'm just trying to do my due diligence and step up and do my part. That's really it. And I keep getting hammered for it. But we're not getting the part-time people to apply. So at some point, we have to say enough's enough and hire the full-time people that we're gonna get to fill these positions.
And another answer is merging. It is merging, and it's been talked about a lot. And there's been a lot of discussion on it, you know, but there's a certain point where you can't go past the wall. And I'm not saying it's you can't get over the wall, but you know, there was some issues with some other municipalities that they just didn't want to entertain it. It certainly wasn't Weston. It certainly wasn't us at all. And I challenge anyone that keeps on saying that over and over and over again, prove it. Just prove it. And they can't. So, but yet, let's keep talking about it. So we're gonna be there. We'll be the first ones in our seat when that merger starts to talk, because it has to happen. It makes so much sense to have Schofield and Rothschild with Rib Mountain than us. I actually question sometimes how this even happened. With that we actually leapfrogged over to Rib Mountain, that we didn't work with Schofield and Rothschild right away. But it is what it is, so. But it's gonna happen because none of these departments can handle this. We've got to work together. I'm sorry, did I cut somebody off? All right, so let's get back on this agenda here. So discussion and action on potential implementation of an annual fire fee. So we're gonna defer this to next month?
Well, I think we have to. Isn't that
You just gotta go
just-
along with this right now.
I get that, but what if I get a call in 2 weeks that says, you've been approved, do you want to take the grant?
Call me.
I was gonna say, do you have 2 weeks to answer that?
Up to 14 days, yes.
We can get a board meeting together.
We can, I assure you that we will have we'll get that together.
I just
It will not
can't
all be-
reiterate enough that if we
Yep, I know that.
don't do it in good faith, it's just very difficult in the future, not just for grants like this, but any federal grant, which we rely on heavily.
Yep.
The board needs to be aware.
Your integrity does not go unnoticed. So I mean, yeah, I mean it. You're that's the person we count on as you as chief. So I applaud you with that way of thinking. So do we need a motion to defer?
I got a question.
Yeah.
How much is this fee gonna bring in? About 200,000? Give or
No,
take?
so if you look at each of the examples, the total fees collected, in the one example is 432.
We can make this fee 500,000.
Yes, we can.
We can make it
We
600,000.
can lower it. So what we're trying to do is the minimum that we need to make sure our budget is balanced. Obviously, we have to take into account the deduct. We don't know our allowable levy increases here. Everything is kind of up in the air. It's like I keep saying every year, it's just too early. We don't know a lot of our numbers yet. We don't get that till like September.
Right, because my thought process here is getting kind of foggy, but, if we knew, last year, and I approved it because I thought we were going to referendum, we took 100 and some thousand out of our surplus and used it to cover the expenditures we couldn't cover. My question is, what are we going to? But if you're gonna be doing a fire fee, you're going to be asking for X number of dollars, but you're saying you don't know what that exact figure is yet.
No, we're gonna ask for the amount we need to balance our budget, and which is determined by the village board. So if you decide that's too much of a fire fee, you would slash some budget and make sure that the revenues equal expenditures, whatever the final levy number, the final fire fee number is what's going on the tax bill.
What do you feel we're gonna be short on fire?
I don't know.
Well, because my other question was that was leading to is until we figure out whether we are gonna have a referendum or we're going to do fire fees after, if they say no, we go to fire fees. One way or another, we're gonna get our money. I mean, I prefer over tax levy, but my question is, what dollar figure may we have to take out of our general fund again to cover so he can do his grants? I'm sorry, it's kind of
I don't know, the village board, we continue to get increase in our transportation aids, but we don't put it back into transportation, so we're gonna get ourselves stuck again. I kept preaching that like for 10 to 5 years before our transportation went up, and now it's going up, and we continue to just plug the hole with it, and we can't continue like that. Everyone nodded with me like we can't do it, and we continue to do it. So we need to stop that. We need to learn how to live within our means, and that's making hard decisions. And that's definitely not something staff does. We had, I don't know how many of you came to Finance HR, but we took a deep dive into our budget. We presented each month, look at the general fund budget. And all I got was, thank you for being transparent. This is a really tight budget. And now that we're talking about increasing more money because we need it, nobody is saying, hey, those expenditures, they were a little bit too high. I'm not hearing that. All they say is we need more money. And I'm telling you, I don't know how to raise it. And neither do any other municipalities in our state, because there's a ton of referendums out there. A lot of them are failing, and that's a problem. That's why in December, the board decided to go for a fire fee, because we could not fail. This is something that I can't just come up with an extra $300,000. I am welcoming everyone to come sit down, work with me, and we can talk through options. And if you have an idea, I'm willing to work with you and see if we can make that come to life. That would be great. But I've been doing this too long, and I don't have many more cards in my back pocket. I've been making it balanced since 2018 when I've been in charge, but I can't do it much longer. I need some support, and I need a way to raise some money. I don't know how else to do it. I keep telling you the TIF's closing, and people just nod their head, but I can't do much until it closes. I need some more money.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but once the TIF closes, could that fire fee not be dropped? If it
Good, we're supposed to get over $400,000 back that we can collect through the levy. And with that, our tax rate's gonna drop. It's gonna drop over $1. That's a lot. That's
That's the village's portion.
That's the village's portion only.
400,000?
And you're gonna see that drop in the other taxing jurisdictions also. This TIF has been collecting, our increment's $8 million. That's a lot of money. We're using it in good right now to complete Weston Avenue. But once that's done, that money is going to be spread out amongst everybody. And with the state, they only allow you to recapture so much. So that results in a tax rate drop. So people are gonna see a little bit of relief, but it's got a couple of years yet.
That's if we get through this low income housing.
That wouldn't affect what comes back onto the levy. It's only what's left of the remaining increment that you've already collected. So it would not affect what comes back onto the levy at all.
It's not gonna affect the year that it comes
No.
back. But for a different day.
How much money are we talking about?
On which piece?
On helping?
If we did affordable housing?
Yeah.
It depends on where we end with Weston Avenue, with our expenses, but it could be a couple $1 million that we could
Yeah,
put towards.
1.2 to 2.
Yeah,
We would divert that way versus somewhere else.
that we could utilize for any method of affordable housing, whether it's revolving loans.
What else could we use it for? Fire?
Developer incentives.
Fire?
We could not use it for fire,
Okay.
not the
But we
increment
could,
that's
but we
already
could give it
collected.
back to the residents. Yes?
You could give it back to the taxing jurisdictions. You wouldn't be able to do it individually to residents.
Okay. Okay, did we get there?
Well, I just have one
Oh, go ahead.
final thought as we consider this. I think it's important that if we're gonna do a fee, that we really be transparent, and say, well, it's $50 this year, but 3 years from now, it's gonna be $150.
I appreciate you saying that too, because I think another piece that maybe got lost in this isn't like we have this conversation tonight and next month we approve and then it's on your tax bill. The fire department would put together a presentation along with the village. We would have open houses, we would have educational sessions, we would talk through with people, just like we do an open book, like this is what your fee would be and this is how we based it on. We could schedule appointments and have those conversations with people. I'm sure the chief would, if people reached out, would schedule times with them, but it isn't like we would just go from here until the end. We needed to have an idea of what this meant for people, and then we will do educational sessions.
I guess just my last comment, then I'll shut up. I love that we're doing that, and I guess I wish we would have been doing that 3 months ago to build up to this, so that people had an opportunity to hear about it, give their feedback. And then we know, okay, people have come in, they've listened, they've heard, they understand. I feel comfortable making that decision based off of that information, because otherwise this is very last minute, and I understand there's a variety of reasons why that happened, but that's all.
Next month, right? And let us know what you hear. Okay. 42, discussion and or action on 2026 budget priorities and establishment of a budget adoption schedule.
So finance and HR did decide at the meeting prior that they will handle wages and benefits, and they will make those recommendations to the board. So I do have a draft schedule of what we'd like to do for budget up there. The one determination, if we're comfortable with the schedule, would be whether or not we wanted to do September 8th or 9th. If we did 9th, that's the same day as the SAFER meeting, so I think we would ask SAFER if we could meet here instead of at the SAFER building to run those meetings back to back. But the goal would be that we would bring you the budget in November, which means we'd publish in late October in order to meet the timeline to get it to the county for printing of tax bills.
I would prefer the 9th if possible.
And September 22nd, I won't be available. Which is fine. Otherwise, all the rest I can. Anybody else? And you'll send a schedule out to all of us?
I'll do a meeting invites for all of them, so you can just load them to your calendar.
Thank you.
But September 9th then works. And Chief, is it okay if we meet here?
Yeah.
We've been very flexible with that, so it's definitely, we can ask for it to be here a couple times, so.
I suppose I could ask the chair. Chair, is it okay?
Yeah, it is, yeah, it is. We used to go back and forth, but it just worked out okay over there, so, but yeah, definitely over here. Okay. Do we need action on that?
Nope,
Nope,
I'll send out
okay.
meeting invites.
43, discussion and or action on East Jelnik Avenue Construction Services Contract Amendment number 2.
I'll make a motion to deny.
Motion to deny by Cronin. Am I hearing second? Did I hear a second? I'll make that second to get it on the floor. For discussion.
So I had a couple thoughts when I read this. Number one, they're claiming that the amount they want to be paid for, that the original estimate of 22 weeks of construction ended up being 32 weeks. Well, I understand that, the work is also the work.
So,
And I don't feel that because something takes longer in a situation like that, that it's necessarily our burden to bear. I mean, we signed a contract. I don't feel it's fair for them to come back $47,000. There's a number of issues still with that stretch of road out there right now, and I got a problem with this.
so I guess I just want to clarify, so this is for Clark Dietz's construction observation of, so we hire them to essentially make sure the contractor is doing what they're supposed to be doing. So their hours are based on the hours that the contractor is working, so they're not the ones putting the pipe in the ground or putting, or doing the physical work. They are the people there making sure that the plans and specifications are being followed. So we pay them based on how long the contractor takes to do the job. So they're not out there, they don't volunteer their time. You know, so instead of me being out there making sure that they're doing it, we hire these companies to make sure the contractor is doing what they say they're going to be doing.
So 22 weeks was the
So
contract.
that's what I put in the RFP, so that every
Yep.
consulting engineer gives us the same proposal. Otherwise, historically, we used to do these things on a time and materials estimate, and we would get 3, 4 contract amendments throughout the summer. And you might have the one initially that would say, oh yeah, this is only, a $90,000 contract, so it's only gonna take 18 weeks. And then all of a sudden they go, oh, never mind, this happened. So every time there's a little change to the schedule, they would adjust it. So there might be better ways to write these in the future, but I have a hard time telling somebody that they did this work and we're not going to pay you for it.
Did they? Did they?
Yes.
I had a house redone for 6 months and 45 Monday through Friday days. 45 days of that 6 months, there was nobody at my house, nobody. Now, if he would have worked those 45 days and had all the stuff scheduled, we would have been in our house a month and a half earlier. And it was a tremendous amount of anxiety on my wife and I. My question is the 22 weeks, how many off days were there? I drive by there all the time. There was a lot of time where I saw equipment sitting there, nobody doing nothing, nothing. So Dietz wasn't there watching nothing. So how much time did they get back? And also if it was 22 weeks and it got done in 18 months or 18 weeks, would they be coming to us giving us money back?
We do get money back, yeah. A lot of our, yeah.
I agree with this, that the contract, it is what it is. I know you had a thing in there that one of the higher ones was 387,000 or 382.
Yeah.
Where was some of this discussion prior?
So it was with me and their project manager, I guess. So it's on me. I'll fully admit
It's
it.
not on you.
No, it is because she told me last November, like, it looks like we're gonna be running out of hours here. How do you want to handle this? And
Was it because they didn't get all the landscaping done until this year? I was shocked that they left it the way they did.
It
Mud
really-
everywhere, dirt everywhere, riprap everywhere, and then we went through winter. And then you had to come back, let it thaw, let it all dry out, and then get at it again.
Yeah.
And so is Dietz out there now for all the landscaping too?
No, because I told them to stop going out there,
But you told them to. So, but they would have been, correct?
because that's what our
Because
contract
that's
tells
where the
them.
contract is.
Yeah.
So should that 50 grand be 47,000 being asked of the contractor? Who's the contractor?
That was Melvin. So Melvin
Melvin
didn't,
should be paying.
That was gonna be my next
so
question.
Melvin should be paying. And Melvin is doing Fuller right now.
correct. And
Who's overseeing Fuller right now?
Becker Hoppy,
So Becker Hoppy, we might be in the same deal. What are their weeks for Fuller allotted?
I'd have to look that up exactly,
Okay.
but
But we might be doing the same thing with Melvin.
so. I have to look back to see if we might have had some liquidated damages.
I've gone by some days and I shouldn't be doing this, but I can't help it. And it's a beautiful day and nothing is happening. There's millions and millions of dollars of equipment sitting on Fuller, holes everywhere. I'm getting calls from Wally. I know you're getting just as many. And from other residents that they don't know where their mailboxes are. They can't get their cars out. Their garbage hasn't been picked up in 2 weeks. And I'm not even calling anybody because this is just part of the construction. It's just a hell zone right now. It's a war zone. But with that beautiful weather and nothing is happening,
So
so Becker Hoppy, that's another day to them.
there is stuff happening out there. It just, I mean, if you go out there, there's
I
trucks.
get in there pretty deep. I'm just telling you.
Go down to Rogan, they're
I get in
hauling
the road.
sand.
I get. All right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Would the 22 weeks have been different had that company gotten started earlier in the season instead of waiting until the end of June, like they did again this year? I mean, they didn't start until, what was it, the second or third week of June on Fuller? Same
Yeah.
company.
There's some shop drawing reviews, there's some other things initially. Honestly, this is the hardest part of public bidding and the way we're structured to have to do these projects. We design them, we bid them, we build them. We have separate party agreements between us and the engineer, us and the contractor, and there's really no authority by the engineer to tell the contractor how to do their job, like they don't have a contractual agreement. So
You're saying that's the issue, because you know who then has to pay? Us.
yes.
The
and that's how-
residents have to pay because they're not playing fair, they're not working together. It's he said, she said,
And-
and at the end, we'll just talk to the government because they'll just pay.
And that's why I wanted to hire people to work here on behalf of us, because then we do have that authority and we can make sure that things are held to, you know,
Sometimes the issue is, and over the years, I'm not saying now, not the last couple of years has been pretty good. But over the years, and I think you know what I'm gonna say here, is with past administration, there's relationships. We had a hell of a relationship with the architect here, and it completely fell apart for me. I had a major problem with this gentleman, and he ended up quitting us. He actually resigned from the project and he was done. And I think some of the things that happened, you know, that the way it was left was because of it. But I just didn't feel it was going right. And I think sometimes we get too close to some of these people. And it's a business. And I know those relationships are big, but you gotta let this go. This 47,000 for me, I can't vote for it. Steve?
And to that point, part of me does feel like, to some extent, that especially when it comes to public bidding, these companies, they tend to take advantage of that. And until someone steps in and says, no, we're not gonna pay that money, they keep coming back. And every time that they can find a window to ask for money in, they're gonna do it.
With a no tonight, and it might be only 2 votes here. I'm not hearing anybody else talk, and I'll let you in a minute. It might be a 2 to 4 vote, which is fine. We don't have to always agree. But let me tell you what, with a little dissension here, it'll definitely put Melvin and Becker Hoppy on a better page. Because they'll be on each other's butt. Can I just get Barb in first? Go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, I believe the contract we signed said we would pay him the 22 weeks and or an extension or whatever.
I mean, yeah, it's an estimated amount up
Right,
to the
but
quantity, correct?
suppose, I mean, I assume he did the inspections when they were required, and he is not part of this company that did the construction.
Correct.
He is a separate contractor. So it isn't his fault that the contractor didn't get the work done.
But it's also not our taxpayers' fault.
It's not our
Well,
fault
it's not
either.
our taxpayers' fault, but we signed a contract and you can't, I don't know, to me, yes, I don't like the idea that the contract went that long. Why it went that long, maybe we should withhold it from the contractor.
Is Melvin paid? For Jelnik?
They're not fully paid for gelling. So we do have liquidated damages provisions in our contracts when things go over. Like we did that with the well project, you know, there was what, $40,000+ of liquidated.
What does that mean,
damages.
liquidated damages?
So it's an agreement in the initial contract saying that if you don't complete the job by a set date, there's $1,000 damage. Essentially a reduction in the contract price for every day that goes beyond project completion. So for the well project, we had that. So part of.
Wasn't Dietz asking for more money on the well project too?
No, AECom's over there.
Who?
AECom was the, so.
So how many days is Melvin over on this?
So they hit substantial completion, they didn't hit final completion, so they took longer there. There's different ways we could word construction services agreements, like I said,
Oh, that, you're talking about a fix. What about
I'm
this
talking,
issue?
so but the issue is because of what we tried to do historically to fix this from happening in the past. In the past, you would get a time and materials estimate, and we would just agree with a contractor, and there wasn't a limit, right? There wasn't a set dollar amount that you'd budget for. You know, you kind of estimate what it would be, but there wasn't a contractual saying, hey, I'm at this number. And this is where I said it's my fault. The project manager for Clark Dietz said, I'm at my number, you know, maybe I'm $5,000 over. What do you want me to do? And I was like, well, I need you to close out the project. So I gave them direction verbally. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I don't have the authority to do that, but I did. So I told them, yeah, we need somebody out there to make sure the work's getting done. Because we didn't have the time here to do that with the other stuff going on here at the village. And I guess that's where, I mean, whether it's Josh talking about the fire fee or us talking about these other things, we all are at a breaking point. We all are at a brink where, and it's hard because we're relying on these consultants, we're relying on our partners. And it is business, it is. But if we start doing this stuff where all of a sudden it's, nope, you hit your limit, you're gone. Now, the contractor's out there doing things and they put in a pay request and they say, yep, this is what I put in. And now who's reviewing that? Who's reviewing the quantities? Who's making sure they did it right? We have nobody doing that. So it's on me. It was my
It's not
fault.
on you. It's not on you. You gotta
But
quit
I
saying
should have
that.
told them, no, I should have told them in November, give me the amendment, we have only $10,000 left in the contract.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we have it hammered out.
Okay, Joe.
They are the watchdog to make sure that we get full value from that construction company. And if you change those guys on the number of hours that they're out there, you run the risk of them, you know, and the ones that are in liquefied damages are even worse. Because if they get the chance to cheat, they're gonna. You know, and so short of adding staff that we have to pay for somehow, I don't know, he's in a box, you know, and we gotta have guys that are watching that are qualified. Not just somebody out there, and I can't begin to appreciate what they do. And I do get it that if there's nobody working there, what are they doing there? But it's, I mean, and that's why I didn't have a problem with this in the other committee meeting, because I don't see how we can not pay those guys.
Shane.
Michael, did Morgan give you the schedule for the project?
Yeah, and I mean, it showed them hitting the October 31st date or whatever, and I think we were paving probably in what, November?
Definitely, we're
So-
paving in November.
Maybe a week or two in November.
Does he agree with that 22 weeks?
So they,
Did the schedule
so,
increase that?
so the 22 weeks is how we got advertised for the consulting services.
Yeah,
For
but that
design.
doesn't mean anything. Michael.
Correct, yeah, so.
You gotta go with the contractor's schedule.
Correct, yeah, so that's what I'm saying is when it comes to the contractor schedule, you kind of throw out that estimated weeks in the consultant's contract. Because it's two different things. That was a way to get an estimated budget for the project based on a construction duration of 22 weeks. I guess that's the other part. Once the contractor had their schedule, and if it would have said, hey, this is a 30-week project, I should have brought it back right away and said, hey, our contract with Clark Dietz is for 22 weeks. Based on the contractor schedule, it looks like it's 30 weeks. We should amend this right now. And I guess that's where I get into how many times do we want to amend a contract, or do we, give updates? I know that's what was discussed with Public Works is I'll make sure I do a better job of saying this is where we're at on the contract, we're 50% on, through construction, but we're already at 60% of consulting services, or maybe we're only at 30%, so we've got a cushion. We, like Crestwood Acres, I think AECom, we returned 40 grand back to us from consulting services that they didn't use. So we've had it go both ways, and I guess I don't bring back those when we, our contract is say 400,000 and we only spend 350. I don't come back to you guys and say we only spent 350 instead of 400.
Oh my God, you gotta celebrate the wins.
I know, and I just keep going.
You gotta
I
have.
just keep moving to the
you
next
gotta have
project.
cupcakes that night.
What you
know, it's
gotta
huge.
do, what you gotta do in there, you have a weekly meeting with them.
I do, yes.
Every
Oh, yeah.
2 or 3 weeks, you ask him for update the schedule.
I do. So I
You do
do
that,
all
if
these.
you do
I believe
that,
you do.
then
Yeah, I
we
do.
don't have this problem. We shouldn't have this problem.
Yeah, I only work with you guys when the contract has to be amended, otherwise I take care of the rest, and I guess that's where I run into the issues is when it runs over, and so
You're doing a hell of a job.
I
You are.
try.
And no, you're doing a hell of a job, hell of a job.
It's not that easy.
No, I know it, I hell know it ain't, yeah. Steve?
You do a very good job, and I'm not knocking that. It's
Yep.
just hard when we sit here in a meeting like this, we're coming off of a lengthy budget discussion and fire fee discussion, and here we are talking about giving a contractor another $47,000. So my question to you
Yep.
is, you talked about Melvin having liquidative damages. What kind of number are we talking?
I don't know if they did, I'd have to go back, I wasn't looking at the construction contract portion of it, just looking at the engineering services.
Becker Hoppy is doing what Dietz did. Angelic, they're doing that on Fuller.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, like, we don't use just one consultant.
No,
We-
I like that. I like
got-
switching around,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, I just wanna, I don't like the 47,000 any better than anybody else. But you can't penalize a contractor for what another contractor did. He was hired to watch over what was happening, and I guess I'm kind of baffled how you can penalize him for what the other contractor did.
I think we did discuss this at the public works before we approved this.
Yeah,
and that
I
was-
saw you guys approved it, yeah.
We just can't have it like this. It has to come to us as it become available to you, or you can request it. But
Yeah, Steve.
I just lost my train of thought.
You made good sense. You made good sense when you spoke. Okay, I think we beat this to death.
Yeah.
he's looking for a look at the damage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, so, yeah, so we, back in October, the original substantial completion was October 25th. And then, we had a change order back in October that pushed that to November 15th, which they did meet the November 15th date. So I mean, right there, and that was 30 days, so I didn't go back to look at their construction schedule if they were at 22 or however many weeks, but and that alone was 4 weeks that we did push the
We've got
contract
A little
time.
bit more of a punch list left right now, but how much time did they wear out there landscaping? That had been weeks.
Yeah, I mean, so like when it comes to landscaping and things like that, so pipe
Is that
excavation.
third party?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, the pipe excavation is where it's 100% inspection time so that they, those are DNR requirements. Then when it comes to the roadway grading and landscaping, those are more spot checks throughout the process, because it's not as, we don't need to watch somebody topsoil for.
It's a nice road. I had two trustees from Rim Mountain reach out to me. One was Fred Schaefer, and I can't remember who he's with, but they went to Wish. And he just sent me a text, said, wow, is that a nice road?
Yeah, I mean, so.
From what it used to be, so.
how many people did they have out there watching over that project? Cause I mean, I break
Sometimes
down the
three.
numbers, 10 weeks, $47,000. I mean, I wish I was making that kind of money in 10 weeks.
Yeah,
But it is.
I think I have it in there. I think it works out to an average billing rate of like 116 an hour or something like that.
It's 117.5 an hour, one
Yeah.
person, 40 hours a week. 10
Which
weeks.
sometimes they had 2 people out there, especially during some of the
And it's 50
late
bucks.
paving and stuff,
I mean, that's,
So how much was liquidated damage?
There wasn't on that one because we did push the completion time back to November.
So there isn't.
There wasn't any liquidated damages, so I guess that's part of some of the stuff to keep in mind as we move forward is if we're gonna push that back, we need to make sure we're comfortable with where we're at for the construction services.
I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna say it because you're gonna see the difference, but when we vote, I am gonna vote with Public Works. So I'm gonna change. I just had a hard time reading this, I really do. So.
And none of it is operating
Call for
funds.
question, I'll call for a question. Well, no, Cronin and Maloney, we have a motion and a second to deny, so.
Okay.
So now if we vote, so all those in favor of denying, vote yes. All those in favor of
No, you have to make a separate motion.
now it's, all those in favor of not denying, vote nay. Nay.
No, we're just
All right,
voting on.
so we just denied it. Now I'm looking for another motion.
I move to approve the contract amendment number 2 for the East Jelinek Von Cannell Street Reconstruction Engineering Services Contract with Clark Dietz for an amount of $47,250 for additional time spent on the project above and beyond the original estimated hours set in the RFP.
Motion by Jordan to approve,
Second.
second by Louis.
I'll work on that, Mark.
I am working on it, because he's gonna start calling me baloney. So, any further discussion on this?
Can we just make sure we keep a closer eye on this next time, please?
Yeah, he will. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Very healthy discussion. Oh boy, here we go. 44, discussion and interaction on the purchase of a brand new replacement bucket truck. No, it's not brand new. I'm just teasing. I couldn't help it. Stupid. Stupid. No, we're getting really close. So, do you want to talk on this, Michael, or anybody want to make a motion? So we're looking at a 2004 truck or 2001 truck?
So our current truck is the 2001 truck that we'd be looking to replace with a new truck.
Can any of this money help fire or public safety?
It's capital expenses.
I know.
Should be at least like a 20-year vehicle.
Yeah, but not if you put 114,000 miles on it, because I love the way you did that math. That's pretty intense.
That was Brian.
What was it, 114,000 miles, which is 700, no, hours.
Hours.
So all of that equated to 700,000 miles.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of time when it's being used, it's idling as you're,
Mm-hmm.
you know, trimming trees or replacing
Well, you
lights.
put a lot of things in there as far as what it all does and how much. I mean, initially when I read it, I'm thinking, okay, I've never even seen that truck. I have no idea what it does. But maybe it blends into some of the WPS trucks or whatever. And so,
Yeah, I mean, it's pulling pumps, it's,
can the inspectors use it to look up on top of roofs and stuff? And
I don't think they use it. They only
I don't
use
know,
it.
he's
when-
smiling over there, so I thought maybe.
You guys,
I would like to go up on the roof.
yeah, they use it when we ask them to replace streetlights or.
Can it really go 45 feet up there? Seriously?
Yeah.
Jeez, it's a long way
I don't
up.
wanna go.
I wouldn't either. No way. All right, looking for a motion.
I'll move to authorize the staff spending up to 230,000 for replacement bucket truck.
Motion by Zagami to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, yep.
We need to have one more point of
Full
conversation.
discussion? Okay.
I have something.
Oh, I'm sorry. So second by Jordan
To be
on the discussion. Go ahead.
devil's advocate here, but we just, this budget conversation, Jessica just sat here and said that we have to learn to live within our means. We already have just short of $300,000 for our $400,000 budgeted for SIP for 2025. And this is gonna put us over by approximately $120,000.
No.
Is that what I'm reading? Right here, 237,000 for a grader, 31,900 for a hydraulic hammer. And a trailer with the cost of 22,799, leaving 108,251 for capital equipment. The ask here is 230.
No, but there's another, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so we had 150,000 additionally allocated, so 550,000. So that 150 was for a replacement tandem axle plow truck. So the ask is this, we're gonna delay the plow truck chassis purchase and utilize those funds to offset the rest of the bucket truck.
Plus the 150 plus the 108, which gets you to 268, no,
Yeah.
258. But you're not gonna, the motion was 230, if not more than 230.
Not more than 230.
What year was the bucket truck on initially? Was it next year?
So,
Where in the SIP was that?
so it was part of the, kind of that 400,000 initial kind of guesstimate of what we were looking at for funds. As we started getting quotes, the cost of the lift has gone up substantially than what we initially estimated, so that's a big part of it.
But
is-
you're gonna look for a demo, look for.
Yeah, so, and you know, that was kind of the sticker shock, I think a couple of years ago. It was probably about 50, 60 grand less than what these vehicles are going for now. And we used to get used units from utility companies and they don't seem to be getting rid of them like they used to. At least not in a shape that we'd be willing to take it on with the maintenance of the lift portion, so.
Do any of the other municipalities surrounding us have one that we could work out a agreement with? I can't imagine, I mean, I don't know how often this truck gets used, but.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's parks, streets, utilities, I mean, I'd say it is out there getting used on a regular basis. I mean, like I said, we do tree trimming with it, the banners go up and down with it, our lift station pumps, anything at the aquatic center, those items get used by the truck, so.
Does Rothschild have one?
I don't know if they needed one, I guess we'd
Could tell them that they could utilize ours for 50 grand a year.
Sure. I mean, that was one thing we,
Way cheaper, you know?
I mean, we've let Croninwetter use our existing one in the past for tree trimming. So we do utilize some of those shared agreements.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 45, discussion and or action on approval of the engineering technician job description, which was approved by finance and HR.
I'll move to approve the job description and creation of the engineering technician position.
Motion by Zagami, second by Cronin. Any more on the discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 46, discussion and or action on adoption of section 10.26, body camera usage for non-law enforcement personnel in the conduct and behavior chapter of the employee personnel policies and procedures handbook. Also approved, it was approved by HR and finance, but with the word law.
And law taken
Yeah.
out.
In-law taken out. In-law? No.
And
Oh,
law,
and law
And
taken
law.
out
On what?
on operations.
yes.
Okay, I make a motion to recommend adoption. Oh, that's finance, never mind. I recommend adoption of section 10.26 body camera usage for non-law enforcement personnel policy to chapter 10 of the employee personnel policies and procedure handbook with the following changes of removing law
And law
and law
under operation.
under operations, like, okay, to the board of trustees.
Motion by Ermeling,
Second.
second by Luis.
First.
Lois?
That's very good, that's-
Thanks for the correction, Bushing. You're gonna do it too? What? My pronunciation?
Oh, I guess
Second.
I'd like one more opinion on this before I vote for it, and that would be from Mr. Tatro. Are you familiar with this? What they want to do and what the ramifications of that might be?
I am familiar with it because I started using the body cam. I was actually the one that brought it into the being. I have not read the policy at all, but I know that in many instances, it has helped, especially with property inspections. It has helped calm individuals when they see that body cam, that they act a whole lot different. I would assume law enforcement has seen it also. But it helps out if there's ever a he says, she said, you've got it on video. It makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I want to hear.
Any more in the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Any attorney referrals? Hearing none, any administrator referral? Gonna get all those dates out to us?
Yep.
Dutiful okay. I will food this time because I screwed up on food last time. Remarks from trustees. Newbie?
All I would say is, thank you to trustee Wyland for her time with the board. I appreciated her tenacity and her love for the parks and animals and the work she did with that. The only other remark I would say is, we keep hearing remarks about some of us that are appointed here instead of elected here. I understand that, but I hope that we will continue to prove that even though we were appointed here, we're gonna work hard. I was up at 3:30 in the morning this morning, and I have to be up at 3:30 in the morning tomorrow for work. One of those board meeting or budget meetings is my wife's anniversary. I'm gonna be here for that meeting because I stood here and I swore to be here. And I have voted for people who chose not to be here, but I will be here and I'll continue to work hard. And if anybody has questions about that, feel free to reach out to me.
I just want to say, I'm sure you all agree, that's the best remarks ever by a brand new trustee. Period. In fact, probably 2 or 3 years as a trustee. I'm serious. Outstanding job. Joe, try to beat that.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, just, I just wanna, we didn't talk much about the water report, but I really have to give credit to those guys in their department on a job well done. Crafting that and really, it really is on everybody's mind these days is our water safety rate. And I really appreciate those guys taking that seriously and really making an effort to give people some semblance of safety, you know, that you actually do care and you are doing something about it. I hear the grumbling about it's hard water and all this other stuff, you know, and it's like, just so I can drink it, you know, it's like.
I do a lot of things with our water, but drinking and cooking with it, I do all the time. We absolutely will not buy bottled water, period. Because I just believe that most bottled water is coming out of a toilet in New York. It just says New York. You have no idea if it's coming from whatever, but it could be coming from a toilet. You don't know that. Cronin?
I don't even know how to compete with any of that, so I'm
There's a
gonna.
lot happening over here. I'm telling you, you might have to just take a pass.
I will.
Okay, Shane?
After we finish this wastewater, the drinking water treatment at these wells, I think our water quality gonna improve significantly, much better than what it is today. You're gonna get rid of manganese, iron, and PFAS. And I think that's gonna improve all our water quality through the whole well.
We're trying to get manganese out of the water,
Yes.
and yet I take a manganese pill every night.
Yeah.
Well, you
It's
can't
strange.
treat it for PFAS
Oh.
unless you treat for iron and
Okay,
manganese,
okay,
because it's gonna just plug those systems.
yeah. And
Well, I just wanted to thank Jamie for her time put on the board, and I appreciated her enthusiasm on the park department. You know, she really kept things going on that. And then I just wanted to, I had been to a Woodchucks game on Sunday, and they put in some artificial turf in there. The field is regular grass. But did that ever look nice? But they had to learn how to slide.
oh, yeah.
It's a whole different, and I was just kind of curious as to when they do that, when they're doing the artificial turf, are they doing the whole field or are they doing just?
Kennedy,
Yeah,
but infield, it'll be like athletic park. The
Okay.
infield will be turf and the outfield will be
okay,
grass.
because
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
had asked me that and I said.
The more
"Gee,
usage
I
of the
don't know,"
artificial.
You know, I don't
Yeah.
know.
We got artificial on two mediums on Ross and Camp Phillips.
We do.
And the other two are colored concrete.
And Michael could teach us how to slide.
Yeah, no, not me. Not me. I don't want to slide. Let me get my knees fixed first.
And it was funny watching some of those
Yeah.
from that other team trying to
Yeah.
figure out how to slide into that base. Okay.
So I've got a few remarks. One of them is a sincere thank you to Jamie Wyland also. You know, her and I had a lot of discussions, good and bad. And, but you know what? Hopefully she'll resurface. Maybe she'll want to jump on a committee or a commission. And we'll see where it goes. So looking forward to our meetings, you know, off a little bit different as far as moving forward in the future. And I'm actually looking forward to the budget talks. And I'm very optimistic that we'll find an answer on the safer too. That's all I have. Future items, next meeting date, Monday, August 18th at 6 p.m. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Zagami,
Second.
second by Jordan. And all those in favor say aye. Opposed, so carried. 9:11, we are adjourned.